Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. See how many people up in here waiting. Oh, we got likes up in here. Hit that like button. Kev hurting out here. What you mean I'm hurting? What you mean Kev hurting? I ain't never hurting. What that mean? I don't even know what the fuck that mean. Hurting? Kev in capital hurting out here. What you mean by that? I come to class prepared every day, Duke. You feel me, Duke? I come to class ready every day. What you talking about? Kev hurting out here. Kev, I'm healthy. God is good to me, champion. Yes, sir. Anytime I'm able to teach, three, four, 500 people come into my classroom on a daily to talk about things we would never discuss. To ordinary hood people, our democratic relatives, nigga, that's special, my nigga. You gotta honor that, bro. Ain't too many niggas that come on the air that can talk outside of the gossip and the hip hop and the bullshit, snitching. We talk about it, but there's more. There's obviously that's the low of the low. We talk about the things that's hard to make revenue on YouTube. You know, the things that's hard is it takes this. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never hurt out here, champion. I know you like your name called. Some people say things to me because they just want me to acknowledge them. I say YouTube player. You ever had that? Yeah, some people they not haters, they not nothing. Some people just come to class, they just like, I'ma fuck with Kev, watch this. Impress what? They want me to take it personal. And I like to pretend that I do. I might block them, suspend them, toss them out, have one of the females toss them out, press one. But today is a little different. We left off on a good note yesterday. We was talking about a lot of great things. We found out about the greatest information of all. What did I say? King George, George Washington, John, John, hashtag John. Can we say John? Did you forget about King John? Oh, you thought it was just King James, King Edward, King this one, and King that one, and forgot about King John. So, I mean, that's where the Magna Carta um, comes from. So you guys got to really step your thinking skills up. I hope y'all brought y'all magic number two pencils today. They only work in this classroom. The magic ones. Press one. We're gonna be talking about some great shit, and we now know what it's a Jubilee trust, not just any trust, not just a Jubilee, but it is a Jubilee trust that is to be returned every how many? We're gonna get back to that later on in the show. See that's why you gotta go back over information that we've come into. So like the video I showed yesterday, that's an older video. You gotta go back further than we were discussing things a year ago, 2 years ago. It's like wow, we didn't even know what we were piecing together. We didn't know KevRow University was gonna be KevRow University. You hear me, hater? We didn't know that. Just what it turned into. I'm full, champion. I'm up in the morning. I'm up before anybody on the West Coast except crackheads. Press one. Except crackheads. You see Tyron Crockett say 50 years. We wouldn't know that if it wasn't for the road. We wouldn't know about the Jubilee nor if it wasn't for KevRow University and all those who participate here. All of them. So God bless us all. We came a long way. Just talking and this one and that one. I'm trying to let the class fill up. Hit that like button so we can go ahead and put this great trust movie on so we can have a better perspective since we know we dealing with a King George Jubilee Trust coronation. Press one. The Magna Carta. The return of the king is we're gonna get back to that later on in the show. Hit that like button. Thank you. So we're going to listen to our favorite librarian break this trust down. Who did it? How the founding fathers played a excellent role in drafting not only the Constitution. A lot of y'all don't know the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all of those. Let's just say it's another one too, but this comes out of the Magna Carta. Press one, hit the like button. Shout out to you, Marcus. I see you. This comes out of the Magna Carta. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights. That's not nothing America just made up. No, the rebels didn't make that shit up. Press one. Mm-mm. That was all by way of the king. Y'all tripping. What's up with it, Brian King? I see you. My man. Bo Cat, good morning to you, champion. So now that we did a little more research and just ran across this trust information and whose it is and what it is, we got to find out who busted open the trust. Just like we already know that. But what did it take to bust open this trust? And what is the language in the amending powers that has disenfranchised the beneficiaries of that thereof? Press one. Mm, mm, mm. I like when I start talking like my brain just flow. I like that. I like that feeling. It just damn of that thereof, huh, Kev? That's how you feel. That thereof, champion. See, that student that came in here talking shit, his brain can't fathom little quotes like that. His brain will never put it together because he worried about the wrong stuff. He worried about if his shoes is tied up appropriately, if his Air Maxes just meet the barrier of his cuff just right, like anybody gives a fuck. Press one. He comes to class to fool around, sagging, fucked up, really just come to class just because he ain't got nothing to do. Hit the like button. He ain't got nothing to do. Typical nigga shit. He ain't got nothing to do. Come to class just to see us. Just to hang out and pretend he got friends like he know people. Soon enough he gonna be pressing one. We know how this go. Soon enough he gonna be pressing one. Trying to get in where he fit in. So I couldn't wait for this program to start today because again, we're gonna be dealing with the statue of wills, the statue of uses, press one, the statue of Mortmain. We're gonna be dealing with the Magna Carta. All of these. You asked me what books to get. All of them. How much knowledge? Where to go? It's all. Once you got the title of these books, and you can get different perspectives from different people out here. Man, I don't understand why the brain. Well, I do understand, but why? You got to jumpstart your brain. There's various different statutes and jurisdictions and ordinances and amendments. I told you guys, the 13th and the 14th Amendment was to make you a criminal. Press one, and then disenfranchise you in your own trust and nationalize all foreigners. And you gave them permission. You gave them access to you and to your estate. Press one. And a lot of people don't even know they got an estate. You know what that means? You've been bibbity bopping your head to rap music and love stories from Disney this whole time, and you don't even know how this system is even operating off of you. How you ended up on the stock market. You ain't paid it no mind. You've been listening to Lil Wayne and Lil Boosie and just going along with the beat of whatever life they give you. So it's a blessing to bring y'all this and to talk to y'all about birthright, sovereignty, common law, the 13th, the 14th, how you were genocided out. These little cold words these people use. So I'm glad all of y'all here, especially my Patreon people who love when we go over this type of information because there's always something new every time. Yeah, KevRow at night can wait. It's always something new every time when you listening to people break this down, either in today's time, but I like to go back to the past again. If you don't have a 1828 Noah Webster dictionary, what I want you to do right now, press one. Is right now. Open up a new tab. Press one. Type in your Google and 1828 Noah Webster's dictionary, and you're going to be listening to this. You're going to be writing, and you're going to be typing on your computer and figuring out what these specific words and terms mean. Press one. So you can get the Black's Law Dictionary. You can open up 2 tabs. The Black's Law, fine. You can open up 3 tabs, and even open up the etymology dictionary at that. All 3 of them. We bright over here. You want to open up all of them. You want to get the etymology breakdown. You want to get you want to get the legal breakdown from Black's Law, and you want to get the basic common understanding of the language that was being used at the time. Press one. Of the way these words were being used at the time. So the way we use words today have been changed slightly, and we just use words and not really know what the hell we are really saying. I mean, it makes sense to us in 2023, but back then they would they would think we was all crazy because we would all be speaking from a corporate controlled mindset. Boy, we fucked up. But hey, gotta wake up from something, right? Gotta wake up from something. So I'm gonna let them do the dirty work. I will be commentating just for those. If you hear something or you got some notes, you can type it in the chat room just for it to be on the screen, because I do go back and watch these later on at night, and really kind of look at the chat to see who's saying what pertaining to the show. All that other stuff I don't give 2 shits about. Internet chatter. But when people say things that catches my eye, I kind of time stamp it and go back later on and look who said it and try to remember the person, of course, so they can get their credit, but include that as well. So as usual, this is what's the name of this? This is Legacy Abandoned Part 1. And what it's about is how the corporate church, the corporate church, well, the corporate system who in business with this foreign church took over the Americas by way of Federal Reserve and the banking systems of the past. Before them, our money was backed by the resources that we have, from gold, silver, salt. It doesn't matter what, cotton. It doesn't matter. Resources in general. So the greenback or the bullion, the bullion. These things were really backed by what you were able to, entrepreneurship, the great business, capitalism. They make capitalism sound bad, but socialism and communism sound bad. It's mine over here. Press one. Get your life together, champion. Press one. Without the communistic approach. Oh, entrepreneurs love capitalism and innovators, and yeah, because they make money off of their ideas and things of that nature. So yeah, it takes a lot to innovate. Most people got to get up, go to work. If you can turn a buck, creating or doing what you like to do on a daily, man, you're winning. Don't let these people uh, give you low confidence. Shit, and if you working and you got a little extra on the side, you're winning double fold, brother. You're winning. You're winning. But back then, our shit was backed by not just gold, but all the resources. And now that they own all of your resources, what's the commodity? What are they taking these loans out on? Who's the commodity? Well, you are. That sucks. You are the slave. You are the indebted slave that can never get out of this perpetual debt. that J.P. Morgan and these Roosevelt people placed you under. Before, you didn't know what debt was. That was impossible for you to have debt before the destruction came, which is the floods, the floods. Press one. The invasion. Before all that, you didn't know nothing about no damn uh, debt bondage. You forgot about what the Lord had brought you out of slavery servitude so long ago. You forgot about debt bondage. You didn't know you was going to be a citizen in your own land and foreigners will be above you, just like scripture say. Verse 1. You didn't know that. You don't know why the United States Constitution and the Magna Carta and the Bill of Rights is all Levitical law. You don't even believe in God, and that makes you a criminal. Because if you don't believe in God, you ain't got no foundation. Most of these niggas is criminal. That's why they have jurisdiction over you. Because you're a criminal and you own paperwork. That's why. You're a criminal. And I'm here to show you how you became a damn criminal and why you must remain a criminal. You see? Yeah, why you are a criminal. That's what I'm here to do. Show you why you're a criminal. I was a criminal and you a criminal too. Because we black. And most of us in the hood ain't got no job. So we got police pulling up on us. You know you's a criminal. Press, well, that's the cool thing about it. Kev, right again. You know, Tied of criminal. Criminal ain't got no motherfucking color line. You's a criminal. But we not criminals no more. Press 1. We figured it out. No, we're not criminals no more. But so many of us, I'll just say we criminals. Raised to be criminals. Raised to be outlaws, thugs and shit. Rejectful of the law. Well, that's exactly what they need you to be to get your ass in that 13th Amendment by law. Press 1. No, you ain't got no job. You don't watch Boys in the Hood 30 times. Nigga don't accepted this as your life. Press 1. You don't accepted this as your life, nigga. Nigga, wake up. Nigga might not live another day. That's accepted in the hood. Look at Chicago. Don't look at me. Press 1. Look at Chicago. Don't look at me. Yeah, just accept it. It is what it is. You be happy to live to see 17 or some shit. That's a mentality that you have been placed in with the 13th and 14th. As long as, who is that? Somebody brought to my attention, which one of these amendments is dealing with criminality? What makes you a criminal? Is that the 13th? You're gonna have to understand the 13th is and the 14th is very important to the African American. That's the 94 crime bill. You are a criminal. I'm just letting you know. Remember Joe Biden said, even if you get rehabilitated, we don't even know how you got rehabilitated because you're a criminal. We don't give two shits about nothing. Press 1, they're criminals. It's an all-out assault to make you a criminal and you don't even know why. Well, I know why, and you should know why too. The 13th Amendment, thank you for that, you guys out there. Amanda, for his glory, Taj, thank y'all for that. I'm a criminal, you a criminal too. They need you on that paperwork to make this whole. So you need the 13th to make the 14th official. You need to be a criminal. We need to criminalize you. You need to be a criminal. That way we can legalize ourselves. I mean, without you, none of this would be going on. Shout out to Mr. Richardson. You're absolutely right, champion. So, the understanding the 13th and the 14th, who the founding fathers were, what they represented, what's allowed, what's not. what they were against, what fraudulent church were they against, because the founding fathers church is totally different from the Dead Sea church, where you got this dead mindset that God is dead, everything is dead, there's no return. They're just I don't even know what to call Peter, St. Peter's. I don't even know what to call it. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank y'all for posting that link out there. Shout out to you right here. My man, Brian Turner, you in the building. Shout out to you. So make sure y'all pay attention to this. I really do. I really want y'all to, because we going forward. We might watch the first two halves of this and have to come back, because I don't want you guys to tire out. It's just so much information, and I might be stopping and going, so that may prolong it to 2 damn hours or something. So we're gonna stay tuned. Understand who King John, King George, King, all of these people are. I'm saying they're your people who were destroyed, who was rebelled against and overthrown by the so-called indentured workers. But we'll get to that. In their homelands. In their homelands. So pay attention. Okay?
We're going to be talking about some rather serious and interesting information, although hopefully it'll be nothing that'll cause you too much consternation. What sort of sparked this particular line of study is, I don't know how many of you were aware of the gentleman from Indiana who came out and brought codicil and language to our attention, that the word label, as used on the 1040 form, means a testamentary instrument. I was part of the people that brought that lecture forward, and well, I gave Bunny the information, and because we thought it was interesting to look at it in the language at the time the Constitution was written. My personal study was, what is the Constitution in its noun form? Not what does it do, what is the thing? Of course, we've read Lysander Spooner and all the libertarian stuff that's come forward on it being a contract. But after talking to Bunny...
So let's go into it. Not only are we talking about, is it a contract, but is it a will? Huh? And not only is it a will, it's a will and trust. But it's a specific type of trust. It's a Jubilee
I looked
trust
up in Amjur, and
where the beneficiaries are his people. So let's go.
Found, I think it's under Wills, section 12, if memory serves, that the sovereign...
So what I'm telling you is, these folks right here, these folks who forefathers is from Europe and Poland and Czechoslovakia, are trying to place themselves as heirs. And you might say, well, what's the difference between an heir and a citizen? Aren't we citizens, and aren't they citizens? Well, yeah. They are citizens. Press 1. Now, if you're a citizen, it's no different than the way you living now and the way you've been living this whole time. But if you are an heir, we all know, we all seen Queen Elizabeth, Princess Diana. We don't even know who these people is who at the parties, but we know they some heirs of some duchess, of some shit, from some goddamn where. So some importance is to nobility somewhere up there, because we can't get in. In fact, we will call their ass the Illuminati, because we can't go. We can't never go. Press 1. See? And we, as black people, think, well, ain't they heirs? I mean, in King George and all of them. Well, why are they citizens if they're heirs? Why are they fighting to be heirs if they're citizens? And to be a citizen is what we all are. Check. You got to ask yourself, let your brain breathe free. An inherent right. There you go. We make sure y'all write this down. An inherited right and common law in these natures. Pay attention to the chat room. People be throwing little bars out there. Pay attention.
has no testamentary power at common law. So that means that the Constitution could not be a will, according to the law at the time. And Bunny called me back, about 2 days later, and she said, Stan, guess what? Property can only devolve to a body politic by trust.
By what? Now make sure did you hear that? Property can only be what?
Testamentary power at common law. So that means that the Constitution could not be a will, according to the law at the time. And Bunny called me back, about 2 days later, and she said, Stan, guess what? Property can only devolve to a body politic by trust.
By what? By trust, family. Property only can devolve into the body of politics by trust. You understand? Write it. Turn the page and write robber barons. Barons and robber barons on it. And we're going to get into all these notes coming up this semester. Coffee and Kush TV, KevRow University. Full effect.
So what we've pretty much discovered, and I agree with the woman's, with her research, that the Constitution is a trust instrument, and in order for us to understand the peaceful philosophy behind what we're attempting to do in calling government to task, we have to understand that they are trustees.
They are what? What is the government? What is the federal government? Trustees from their position. You hear me? From these guys' position right here. And you got to call they want to call the government to task. He don't want to be a citizen no more. So they're trustees. Okay?
They are very much trustees. And as soon as we understand that, I think that the people in general are...
And now check this out. If you don't know that King George's Jubilee Trust and the Magna Carta is where the Constitution and the Bill of Rights come from, you would never know that it's all one. Like Trinity. You understand what I'm saying? It's the power of all power. It's the Lord of Lords on earth. What are you talking about? Press one. So in my opinion, they got us just focused on the Constitution, praising the Constitution, when it's more than the Constitution at play in reality, not the Mentos compost mindset of a citizen. I'm saying at the supreme level of thinking, beyond the goddamn veil in which you all can see if you pay attention. Okay?
Are going to have a better understanding of where folks like us are coming.
If these old ass people can see it, and you
Bunny,
melanated, you better be able to see it.
My name is Speakman, and I am an heir of liberty.
Now say it with me. This is Barrens Speakman. Now I'm Kevin Gillespie, and you say, who are you? I'm an heir. Press one. Of liberty. See how that sound? That's different than a street punk walking around sagging, throwing my fingers up, looking like the profile. I'm an heir of liberty. I am Mr. Gillespie, sir. What is your problem? Walking, let me get your badge number. And you done fucked up now. See? Ha ha. You done got my grandkids an extra $7,000 just for fucking with me. Press one. I'm not a criminal. You are in violation of such and such. This is how white people do. I don't call them white people. This is my aunties right here. These are my neighbors.
And we're going to find out exactly what that means very shortly. I'm going to prove to you that the Founding Fathers were very lawful men. These gentlemen would not have gone against the law, and they would not have created a document that would have gotten them into trouble. Now, if you logically think about it, what if they had lost the Revolutionary War?
Now, let me stop this here. She gonna play mind games with you. Be African American. Be wise as a serpent, but be gentle as a dove when you listen to it. Because the people in the revolution are the same people who cooped the nation, who put you in bondage. The royals is who freed you. Okay. Yo. Let me know. Let me know if you can hear me. Are we good? All right. Thank the few 80 something people. Shout out to my support group. I got very small support group, so shout out to y'all. And try not to lose focus when these things happen. Just technical difficulties arise, and I've been doing this for quite some time, searching YouTube real fast, and it just seems like my computer overheated from all this hot fire from dial-on. Press one. So shout out to you guys for bearing with me as these things arise, and I'm like, I gotta be the only nigga from the hood when these things happen that can go right to it. Like, oh shit, what happened? Oh my goodness, nuclear meltdown around this mug. So shout out to y'all. I'm gonna replay it, and let me turn it down real quick and make sure
laws that they had brought with
that we remember and stay on topic too. Don't let these little trolls in the chat room who be pretending and all that take y'all minds off of what's going on. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even talk to people who really ain't got nothing really to say. I'm not saying don't say what's up or whatever. What I'm saying is watch out for those who only here to throw your mind off. You feel me? Try to throw art. They secretly hating on your boy. They waiting for a fuck up. They waiting for, oh man, it's buffering. Oh, this is too long. If it's too long, then just leave. I don't give a damn if you stay in my classroom or not. My classroom ain't built off of no suckers who talking about it's buffering too long. Go back and watch an old video. Support the broadcast, hater. Nobody asked you to come over here anyway. We ain't fucking with you, homeboy. You ain't in the front seat. Oh man, it's buffering too. And shit, play it fuck up. Shit, fuck up. You should, you can turn. But if this is real information for my people, not you. This ain't for everybody. This for the people who've been walking with KevRow University for the last 2 years. We don't know you. Oh man, it's buffering too much, man. Brains can only operate by themselves for 1 minute before they get fucking frustrated in their brain. They just can't chill out, huh, DJ? Tell them to roll up. It's the perfect time to roll up. Cub coming back. GD, folks. Press one. Hit that like button. Hey, let's get it back to the video, y'all. Pay attention. Pay attention. You can't, man, this shit fun to me, man. I can't lie. I can't lie. It's fun, man. It's fun.
Please.
Good morning. My name is Speakman, and I am an heir of liberty. And we're going to find out exactly what that means very shortly. I'm going to prove to you that the Founding Fathers were very lawful men. These gentlemen would not have gone against the law, and they would not have created a document that would have gotten them into trouble. Now, if you logically think about it, what if they had lost the Revolutionary War? They would have been hung for treason.
So that just lets you know they didn't lose the Revolutionary War. You know how I know they didn't lose the Revolutionary War? Because they were here by way of the king. And King George would have never, and George Washington would have never betrayed the king. Never. The betrayal of the king came at 1900. Not the 19th century, not the 18th century, not in Rome in 30 BC, none of that. No, they stole your trust. They stole the trust and the prosperity of the African Americans in the 1900s.
Conspiracy, whatever. Okay.
Not way back then. So you got to watch how they blend in the time that they made up. As if George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and all these people went and betrayed the king. It wouldn't have happened. because they're all family. They're all monarch. Press 1. They're all patriarchs. It wouldn't happen. It's impossible. It's impossible. So if the king says human trafficking, you cannot do this, this is illegal in all territories, that mean over here, over there, over there, over there. So how did human trafficking occur after the fall of the king? How did it begin? I mean, how was the king even responsible for human trafficking when he outlawed it? Pay attention to the word semantics.
And so they did create a document that would be legal, lawful, and valid under the king's own law.
Bingo. Why? Why would they create a document that was legal? Because the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, are all under the Magna Carta. They're all it's all together. Press 1. So of course, because they were here by way of the king.
The colonies had laws when they got here. They brought it with them. They were established at the time of the Revolutionary War and prior to it. And they followed those laws. So when they created the Constitution of the United States, they created it under the common laws that they had brought with them.
Under the Magna Carta. They was under royal, they are royal colonies. They're not just any kind of colony, it's royal colonies.
Now, I'm going to also prove to you that this Constitution that we have here is a trust instrument, and it creates an estate.
Told you, it's a trust instrument, and it creates an estate. Why? Because you're dealing with the Magna Carta. Why? Because that's the Jubilee Trust of King George. Or, let's say King John. Or any of the heirs that are coronated and are goes through this process.
Because it all is under estate law. Now, I'm also going to prove to you that the trustees, as far as the heirs, are in breach of trust. And I will show you where you are not an heir, but something else. Now, I'm going to create pictures for you. If you ever put a 2,000-piece puzzle together, there's a little piece here and a little piece there. And we're going to take all these pieces and we're going to bring them in, and I'm going to try to make a picture for you in your mind so that you can actually see it not only in front of you, but inside of you and around you, that you can totally comprehend what we are at effect of today. Now, for example, there's a lack of communication we have with the government. And we have it with each other also. I think of one word and you think of totally something else. You're translating my word in your mind, like the word alienate. Now, how many of you perceive the word alienate or alienation to be a rejection of a sort? Okay. This is going to be the first word we look up in the dictionary.
See, there you go. Dictionary. Press 1. And then you look up law in the Black's Law. Alienated. Then you can go to scripture and alienated. And then you can go to the etymology, the alienated. And your mind will begin to, the gears in here will begin to activate and turn.
And for those of you who have brought your dictionary, please open it up to alienate.
Which one is that?
I'm going right
Any
now.
dictionary you have. I happen to have the dictionary, the American Dictionary of the English Language by Noah Webster, 1828. I think it's the finest dictionary I have come across, including Black's and Bouvier's. And I use it because in order to know what the Founding Fathers had in mind, what their intent was, you have to understand how they used the words at the time they created something.
Bingo. So to alienate And here is the transfer of title. Property. She gonna read it, but get on it.
Okay, I will read it. Alienate. To transfer title, property, or right to another, as to alienate lands or sovereignty.
Bingo. Everybody in here press 1. Did you hear what she said? As to alienate land and sovereignty. Oh, so you got to understand what that means. And let's put it in democratic terms and niggas who won't be thinking about this shit. You gotta say, how did it say, if this is us, where did this occur in time, the transfer of title? How were we alienated? That's against scripture. That's against Levitical law. That's against Magna Carta. That's against everything. How are you alienated? You have to come to terms with this.
Transfer title. Okay? Under alienation, still we have a transfer of title or a legal conveyance of property to another. So there goes your communication. We now have set up a communication between each other. Have we not?
More proper.
Okay. Now alienation does not mean rejection. It means to transfer property, to sell, buy, do whatever you want to with it. Okay. Now,
it's important.
Keep these things in mind as we go along, okay? Take whatever I tell you and put it up in a little pigeonhole so that we can bring it down later. Now,
yes, as you were criminalized. So think of it like, as you were criminalized, you were alienated. You were robbed. You got to think of it like, well, how were we robbed? Well, I mean, you were given a number, the number on your wristband. Back in the day, it was tattooed on you if you got long time. It opened up a minor estate account and began to take money from where? Everybody who go to jail know that, oh, they just moving you around a lot so they can make a lot of money. But you don't know where they're getting this money from or how they're doing it.
there is in your pamphlets, in your booklets, a diagram like this. By the time we're finished with this class, lecture, whatever you want to call it, this diagram is going to be a living, breathing entity to you. It's going to be reality, I hope. If it's not, then I wouldn't have done my job. Now you will notice on the left side, this is the system according to me, on the left side you see up the top principles of liberty.
Somebody in the chat room said, oh, the Social Security number, in a way, but even more directed at a specific group. You want to paper genocide. So you have to make them criminals, not just citizens. Anybody who get a citizenship gets a Social Security card number and all of this stuff. I'm not talking about the Social Security number. I'm saying, where in time did the switch happen that you were made a criminal in your own land that enabled this to happen?
And the preamble, the articles, the amendments, down through Amendment 14. And on the right side, you will find up at the top it says Principles of Mort Main. How many recognize the word Mort Main? You've read the book.
Think of it like Mort Main, Mortimer, up in that movie with Eddie Murphy. This is going back to this right here, what this was all about. And Mortimer Mouse, this is going back to Mortimer. See? Thank you, DNS. All of this is dealing in law. You know, I get up here and I say it's all in law. This is what we're dealing with here. You're watching cartoons because you don't understand that it's all written in that. So a person can, entertainingly pick up the codes if they understand law. Oh shit, it's right in front of my face. Right here, fucking Mortimer Mouth. Mortmain from the enemy. Oh, you would get it. You understand what I'm saying? So, no, I'm talking about the minor state. We're just talking about the 13th and the 14th Amendment as the inception. We're not talking about the birth certificate as per se or the social security numbers. When we do, we'll let you know. We'll let you know.
Book.
Not the whole book. I've read some definitions, and I'm a little bit puzzled. So we're going to have to go through this.
Okay, well, Mortmain is a very puzzling thing, too, for me because it's been hidden from us. This is the disease that our country is at effect of today.
Listen.
It is the cancer eating our substance.
Listen.
Now, if you can recall back to medieval times,
which is
the Roman Catholic Church at one time in England had England in the palm of its hand in a grip that couldn't be let go. This wasn't just a morale or moral issue, okay? It wasn't because all these good people of England were devout Catholics worshiping the church. They had a legal grip on England. They were sucking it dry financially, spiritually, and physically.
And that's what the church in business does. When the church went in business with the oil tycoons, they became the biggest octopus kraken on the planet. Press one. Sucking it, having its tentacles all over the place, sucking the life out of every resource, every land, every sovereign land by way of what? Banking or insurance. All of these little things that never happen. Your fear. You can't serve two gods, remember? Fear. Insurance on this, insurance on that. Oh, that goes hand in hand with banking. In fact, that's worse.
And it was a legal grip. According to some authorities I have heard or talked with, that the Catholic Church believing it, that the Corpus Christi of Christ being perpetual, so was the Catholic Church. I.e., we have a corporation.
Corporation. It isn't called corporation for nothing. I don't call you dead for nothing. I'm not just saying you're dead with a dead religion because the corporation started a 501(c)(3) press one with your history and created an allegory God that has died and left you to man, we'll get to that. That's why I call you dead. These niggas think they got Hebrew down and it's really old ancient Phoenician, old ancient Canaanite languages. They just fucked up. And I hate to say it that way, but all I gotta be fucked up the way we know it. Press one.
Okay. Mortmain refers to corporate functions, corporate principles,
Bingo.
The corporate way of doing things, and now we shall look up that word in the dictionary.
Now let's go look up that
Again.
book.
Black's Law is good.
These ain't just words. These ain't just characters on the screen. These films are saying things. Trade in places. They make the white man a criminal and boost him up. Well, anyway, you get my drift.
For the definition, but again, I shall read from Noah Webster.
What are we looking at?
We are looking at Mortmain, M-O-R-T-M-A-I-N.
Let me look too so I can put it in my brain.
Mortmain. French, mort meaning dead and main meaning hand.
I told you. French. Press one. French. Dead hand. Press one. Death grip. All this y'all be fighting for? Press. death grip.
In law, possession of lands or tenements in dead hands, or hands that cannot alienate. Alienation in mortmain is an alienation of lands or tenements to any corporation, sole or aggregate, ecclesiastical or temporal, particularly to houses of religion, or religious houses, by which the estate becomes perpetually inherent in the corporation and unalienable. Mortmain, it means dead hands. Something is in dead hands. It is a death grip on this country. Death grip on this country. The same way it was in England in medieval times. It is the principle our government is.
They didn't do nothing but reverse it. That's what the trust did. It placed you in the grip of the king, with just sovereignty and freedom and liberty for all that comes with it, forever and ever. The bankers just flipped it.
Is working under and upon at this very moment.
AKA necromancy. There you go. There you go. Now, you see why I say dead? I mean, where's the metaverse? Where's metaphysical? Where's meta this? Press 1. Just dead. Everything is dead.
They saw this.
They all saw this. There were mortmain statutes. And now we're going to commence to go through the literature.
So that's why you're black. Press 1. So if your worship is dead, your God is dead, your language is dead, and then in law you're saying I'm black, press 1. You just a dead man walking. And don't know you stand the curse.
Now, all this mortmain, put it up here with alienation, okay? Because it's going to be coming up. Mortmain and mortmain and Cyprus have destroyed our country. We'll get into Cyprus. I like to say cyprès because it's a French word and it sounds very elegant. Cyprès. So when I say cyprès, it's C-Y-P-R-E-S-S, 2 words. Cyprus is the ability to change a trust.
See?
Okay? The authority, the ability, what such are. Now we're going to go to the preamble. I have the preamble sitting here right in front.
The ability to change the trust. So what they're trying to do is get inside the trust and break it down. AKA Theodore Roosevelt, the trust buster. You get it? Find a way inside to, and he ain't nobody but a family member of you know who, Mr. J.P. Morgan, the banker who's trying to bust the trust. You realize where all this money came from to supply Hitler and Stalin and take home?
One of you. And we'll be looking at that and going to the English laws. Now, the greatest document ever created was the Magna Carta, as far as I'm concerned.
Me too.
Our Constitution today is literally our Magna Carta.
Oh, it comes from the Magna Carta. And it actually gives the corporations its limits of what it can and cannot do as far as trading on the rights of the freedmen. And the freedmen and the freedmen of this nation, that's 2 different words in 2 different groups of individuals.
Okay. Now, in the Magna Carta, I have given to you, I believe, the whole of it. It's very difficult reading because it's in the Old English words. But if you do read it, and you should, okay, you will notice that it is all, or basically up to a certain point, about inheritances, to inherit your liberty, especially number CAP 1, okay, a confirmation of liberties. Right here, it takes the liberties and says, our liberties are inheritable. We have granted also and given to all the free men of
Meaning, told you, look, she's just reading it right now. All the freemen. But listen. Listen. See, that's how bright I am. The meaning I can, my son that comes from me, my son and daughter are free. And this too applies to them.
our realm, for us and our heirs forever, these liberties underwritten. Okay, the Magna Carta makes your liberties an inheritable thing. For as much as we have progressed scientifically, we have regressed spiritually and legally.
Okay. You see why they say you don't have rights, you got privileges? That's because you're dealing only in the Constitution and you believe upside down about that. So, yeah, they would tell you you got privileges. You know why? Because they got privileges. That's why. They got privileges too. The police officer, everybody who operates under this Constitution, they got privileges too. Nobody has right. Right. The right is made to be like Adolf Hitler. They made the right look like some. That motherfucker need that right. No, wait a minute. It's actually a sovereign. You need the right, see? And these rights are handed down. They're not taken. They ain't given to you. They ain't restricted to what we telling you you can do. The Magna Carta is telling them what they bet not do to you.
Okay, we are definitely in feudal times. Now back to the Magna Carta. The first one is about the liberties. The second one is the relief on the king's tenant of full age. Third is wardship, and these are all inheritances, okay? Fourth is about wasting. Now, wasting is very important.
Very important to niggas in 2023. You see? Materialism. Ooh, that's not a word, that's a war tactic.
Okay, because...
Did you hear what she said? Wardship? That's why you go to jail, so they can establish a wardship over you. You fool. This is insane when you really put the black mind on it. That's all I'm saying. This is better than conspiracy.
This will come up later. I presume I can see that the 14th Amendment is projected toward people who waste. Okay. In CAP 35, it discusses liberties purchased. Okay, if you weren't a free man or if you didn't have a free estate, you literally purchased your estate and your liberties were derived from that idea of purchase.
Yes, yeah. That's how they came over here. So they get liberty. You get freedom. They get privilege. You get right. You don't know what rights is. You think rights is marketed in the street like Martin Luther King burning things up like Malcolm X or something. What? No, bro. Kev Gill's got it down packed. Roll up and smoke one and listen.
Okay. These are things just skimming the top so far. Now, at 36, we come into mortmain. It shall not...
All of us should know this, or should be looking into like, oh, okay, let's look at this. What is this world really about? Well, it's really about the Magna Carta, motherfucking, and your corporate structure that kind of overpowers you, which are all shell international companies. Once you get balls, America, so-called America, the big country, when you grow some fucking balls and start holding your government, your federal government accountable at the supreme level. Oh man, not like this. Man, you want to stop, man. We gonna send Big Crump at you. Press one. Nah, bro. You gotta get back to the law. Period. Like the Muslims say, Allah. You gotta get back to the law.
Be lawful from henceforth to give his lands to any religious house. Now, the reason they had religious house, why they specifically were pointed at religious houses, because the Catholic Church was a corporation.
Told you. So it directly said in the Magna Carta, the Catholic Church, and the religion. You don't worship religion. You're not supposed to be in no religion. Your story is a historical prophetic prophecy written by John and all the great scholars of Scripture that's going to let you know how it plays out from beginning to end. It ain't been that long. You're going to wake up. It ain't been that long.
Catholic Church, and I don't mean to knock our...
There you go. And Janita says, liberty is purchased, right is inherited. Well, what's the inheritance? We'll get to it.
Poo-poo the Catholic Church or any other religion. It just happens to be the way it was.
When the Catholic Church went into business with Rothschild and the oil tycoons, all they committed a grave mistake. They went against everything. Oh yeah, they went against everything
At the time. So, the Catholic Church was a corporation, and they were attempting to prevent it from sucking the wealth out of England. A person would die or was about to die, and he would bequeath his estate over to the Catholic Church for the saving of his immortal soul, leaving the heirs destitute or out on the street. So this was an attempt on
They knew this. They said our people the heirs gonna be broke. They're gonna be slaves to fucking what? And look how you turned out. Look at the aftermath. Who turned out fucked up? You. All you gotta do is listen to her. She gonna tell you. You the one that turned out exactly the way they said what was gonna happen if y'all allowed these people to the church and the international oil tycoons to own anything here. They're not even allowed to own anything. We get back.
their part to prevent that to the Catholic Church as a corporation, because it was in dead hands and they couldn't get it back. It kept revolving in dead hands.
See? And that's a corporate, that's a corpse. That's a corporation. It has no soul. So it just keep resetting. Call it the doll's roll. Because it just keep. You ever seen them people bring up reincarnation and keep coming back going, oh, yeah, that's what it be doing. And your name come right up and they just keep reusing and reusing and reusing. Facts, KevRow.
Okay. Quia emptoris. I put this in there. You should probably read it at your leisure. It applies also. The next page is the Statute of Mortmain, 15 Richard 2nd, 1391, Chapter 5. Again, they're trying to stop the eating of the corporate power from the country. Or am I saying that right? Do we get it? Okay. Now,
You ever seen these movies like where the nothingness comes and the darkness comes and eats up the world? That's what it is. It's death. They represent death. Death. Listen to what I'm saying. What she's telling you is this is and let's put it in a cartoon. This is death. You know what death is? Death come to eat up everything to make a deal with you to keep what? This is death. This is sin himself. What the scripture say is the last sin to be defeated? KevRow, yeah. Well, yeah, the never ending story. This is the nothingness. This is death. Family. This is death. This is dead. Everything, your life, who you gonna be, everything is dead. The nothing. Facts. The movies put it in allegorical form, but corporately it looked like this, like paperwork, like this, like you fucked them up. You know what I'm saying? So that's their gods are created out of fear. That's why it was like these movies are so scary because everything is built out of fear, and you can't serve two gods. You can't stand righteously in law and fear nothing. Even a scary ass movie, and the point is not to be like, is to take that lie as the truth. Facts.
If you have a question, please write it down so that at the end, after the taping, we can get back to the question, because I hopefully will answer anything that comes up and you can just scratch your question off.
Well, this pertains to the legacy one, too. So do these references here match what's in legacy one?
Most of them, yes. This is where I got legacy 1 and legacy 2.
Okay.
Okay. The statute of wills. Now, when the question was...
Do that make sense to y'all? Death, the last sin to be, because that is sin itself. Yeah. You gonna get it because, again, people say we in Revelations, right? Yeah. Yeah, what you thought was and wasn't, like Tupac said. Keep telling y'all that as Peter.
When the question came up, just what is the Constitution?
So we was brought up in sin, in death culture, the GOAT. Press 1. We brought up venomous vampires. Nigga, we sting hard. Press 1. Death. Everything we do is death. We speak death. We practice death. We worship sin, the moon goddess Isis, who represents Baal, the crescent moon god. Press 1. Death, nigga. Kali Ma, the Hindu queen, who the black queen, and what does she do? Baby sacrifice, death, nigga. What's the language? We death. What we call ourselves? Black, nigga. Death, nigga. We black and we proud. It's a whole unnatural reverse psychology that Nazis put you under. Press 1 when they came here. You are in total contradiction to the ways of the kings and the sovereign. You call your ancestors, well, you in defiance of God, justice, the law. You're the lawgiver. You're supposed to uphold the law. You're the most brightest beacons of light on the planet. You're the place where people come to get saved. What? And look at you. Broke down materialism, broke us. Now they on the internet from our relationship. They're the brokers, and now pearly things on the internet. Oh, black women and black men. But it's all dealing in law and the way we stand for justice. That's why this snitching shit and all this shit is important at this moment in time. You can't go with your feelings. You got to go with what's right and what's wrong, because judgment is being called. Like, it's crazy, but it looked like y'all attack Gunner, but let this nigga go. Y'all attack that guy, but let him go. Y'all agree with him, but let him go. Y'all fucked with me, but didn't do nothing to that. Like, it's just like, it's all on the surface. It's like, damn. And now, y'all ignoring trafficking, the major things that play, that make up societies and laws, motherfuckers don't care about. In fact, motherfuckers are so guilty and so entrenched in it, they just became children of the GOAT instead of children of God. Facts, G. You supposed to be sovereign and of the law and of good. You up here talking about you African, which is a corporation. You up here talking about you this and you that.
I had an...
And don't know the law. You want reparations and don't even know the law. That's incredible. You won't even know what's in the law. Reparations can mean kicked in your ass, or you know, I deserve reparation. Listening to these niggas and wonder why they like, you already got reparation. Reparation mean getting kicked in your ass and getting hung on trees. You want reparations or more? Well, you wouldn't know nothing, because we ain't studying nothing. We know more about Quando Rondo than we know about let me stop. Yeah, I'm talking like a preacher, but shit, we know more. Yeah, I got the drop on this stripper bitch. She from KKG. Press 1. Shit, in the law, bro, the law, God resides. His power and authority resides in the law. So if you was to exercise the power and authority of God, it will come through the law. Even your own freedom and justice. But we're going to get back to it.
An inkling. I mean, someone gave me the input that, you know, it had something to do with a will. There was will structure in it. So I started to, you know, reading about wills. And it led me to the statute of wills. And in the statute of wills, you will notice by the star where it says hereditaments holding of the king, his heirs or successors, or any other person or persons by knight service shall have full and free liberty, power, and authority to give, dispose, will, or devise to any persons except bodies, politic, and corporate.
Facts.
Okay? So the Constitution as a thing, right?
That means bodies of politics, you already know what that means. Write that down.
There told me it could not be a will. Couldn't possibly be a will. It was against the common law. It was against the laws of England, of which the founding fathers were following. Okay? I then came to the statute of uses, and things began to start looking familiar. In the statute of uses, down at the bottom, where it starts to read that where any person or persons stand to be seized, or at any manors, lands, tenements, rents, services, reversions, remainders, or others, or any body politic by reason of any bargain, sale, fee-offment, fine, recovery, covenant, contract, agreement, will, or otherwise, by any manner, means whatsoever, it shall be, in every such case, all and every such person and persons and body politic that have or hereafter shall have any such use, confident, or trust in fee simple, fee tail, or term of life, 4 years, etc., shall from henceforth stand be seized and deemed and judged in lawful season. This is saying that this creates a trust, a use, actually. I put something in trust for your use. I am the trustee. I'm not only the trustee, but I'm the testator or the trustor. I'm a person who creates it. But I put something into trust so that you can use it. It's actually yours and mine, but you can use it. It's a use. They called it the statute of uses. Trusts and uses are basically the same thing. They fall under the same idea, the same conditions. Okay, that started to ring a bell.
Why?
Yes,
Why
I should
is
be
that?
able to use it.
Why?
And then I came across the statute of charitable uses, and things really began to look familiar.
All right, y'all. Put y'all fucking thinking caps on. This charitable uses is what I'll be worried about right here. Because black people, I want you to know, if you African American, press 1. Nigga, this charitable use about to hit you, because this is important. I've told you, and I'm telling you, and they've told you, the 13th Amendment, right? I stay on these things because a lot of these things are charitable uses and charitable trust.
Now, in the statute of charitable uses, you shall find
This how they
that
got you.
which looks very familiar, like the Social Security system,
There it comes. Remember I said we're going to come to it?
the repair of bridges, ports, havens, causeways, and highways. You
see? This is where Seti Nash supposed to come in when he was talking about the freeways, and that's the best Eisenhower ever did and all this. Stupid. This is the charitable trust that destroy your communities. That's why they put it right on top of your community. That's why. The rebuilding effort, you ever heard that? That's taking out the charitable trust. Pay attention.
find supportation, aid, and help of young tradesmen, handicraftsmen, persons.
Trade school.
You will find the word other taxes
501(c)(3)s
in it. Okay, this is a very important statute. The statute of uses and the statute of charitable uses.
Well, the way to make money is to get money out the trust and get that over to the press one charitable uses. Get it out of the get it up out of there. We gotta bring that over. How maybe we can help them with crack programs. That's a charitable. That's charitable to me. How much? Give me 8 billion in crack syringes and fucking napkins and plastic bags and shit, nigga. Make it work. Say we're giving back to the community that way. And then throw the news out there. Come on, I'm reporting live, talking to Bob Stiller here. Bob, we got AIDS victims and crack. We helping out the community. Press one, we giving them things to make them calm down. Press one, these are all charitable uses. We're helping this one, and we're giving away turkeys and this one and that one. Listen to me. It's all stealing away from the trust, and that's taken away from you, and that's taken away from the king.
Are the big ones. Then on the next page I have the statute of fraudulent deeds, alienations, etc., which is a statute 13 Elizabeth 1, 1570, chapter 5.
Look.
Now, Elizabeth, this was after the overthrow of the Catholic Church. They were now Protestants and had gained...
Stop it. The Catholic Church overthrew everybody. Somebody don't like they overthrow Catholic. They overthrew the real church. They overthrew the real kingdom, the real bridegroom. They overthrew the real church with this dead corporation. You see? But they knows it backwards. So let them tell it, but stay focused, my friends. Stay focused.
Control.
Catholic Church in power today.
Back of England, what happened was, I guess people just got fed up with the whole situation. They got tired of the corporate Mortmain structure keeping them in dead hands with the death grip. Got rid of the king, got rid of the church, and now we have Elizabeth, who is Protestant.
See that? She fucked up. But did you see that? They made the king look like he was Catholic. They're not Catholic. These are the people, this is King James, remember? Remember? These are all these people who brought scripture. So they tripping because it's historical accounts. It's not a religion, remember? These are the people right here on the earth. And you talk about religious, they got you stuck in like some comic book trance when you're supposed to be in law and remembering what God said, remembering the covenant. You tripping.
And she creates the statute of fraudulent deeds. And in here, you will find that if there's any fraudulent...
Look, the statute of fraudulent deeds, which is all fraudulent deeds. You got to think of it on a massive scale. It's all fraudulent deeds once you understand that you're a part of the Magna Carta and not just the back end of a constitution. And it's all fraudulent. Like, wait a minute. Well, y'all not supposed to even be owning anything, right? Right? All these little fucking shell companies talking about, yeah, this is such and such international Wong. We own that right there in Nebraska. I mean, you don't own shit. What the fuck is you doing? It's impossible if you uphold the law. The reason why these little civilian and senators and shit be taking advantage of you because you're allowing it and not holding them accountable. But you're like, hold them accountable for what? How do we even do that? Right? Well, first, you got to know you are a person.
Situations over conveyances, like trusts, deeds.
Yeah, they looking in the sky for the cloud, and he's coming in the cloud and then coming in the airs. When he's coming in the cloud and coming in the air, he's coming by way of birthright. You looking in the cloud for a person named Jesus in the sky when the Christ, your Redeemer, is coming through the womb of a black woman. What are you tripping? And that's why they put the boom and there you go. And it's just like, what happened to us? You don't notice?
Are now in jeopardy by guileful and covetous or fraudulent devices and practices.
See, when you've been raised by Disney, you would think like how they want you to think. You would think Satan is really underground with horns on his head, painted the color red, with black nails going out of a goddamn Fantasia movie. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. It's a lot more corporately structured than that.
Tradesmen, handicraftsmen, persons.
But that's what your
You will
mind.
find the word other taxes in it. Okay, this is a very important statute. The statute of uses and the statute of charitable uses.
And the statute of fraudulent deeds by Queen Elizabeth. No, I ain't talking about Macho Man Randy Savage, Queen Elizabeth. Press one, but it was the reason why he held her up so much. That's my favorite wrestler, Macho Man Randy Savage. And because he was the king. Remember? Y'all remember that in wrestling? Remember why he loved Queen Elizabeth, but she cheated on him, press one, with Hulk Hogan and cheated around with the American Dream and fell in love with him. That's the fucking story. The king loses his wife to materialism and independence, and I can do that all by myself now. Press one. But we get back into it. It's like the Matrix shit, remember?
Are the big ones. Then on the next page I have the statute of fraudulent deeds, alienations, etc., which is a statute 13 Elizabeth 1, 1570, chapter 5. Now, Elizabeth, this was after the overthrow of the Catholic Church. They were now Protestants and had gained control.
This is how they Protestants and now they gain control. They're the same people. Anyway, this is when, what she mean to say this is when the king was losing power of his people. Because again, it's all choice.
Back of England, what happened was, I guess people just got fed up with the whole situation. They got tired of the corporate Mortmain structure keeping them in dead hands.
No, they got tired of the king. They got tired of niggas looking like, damn, bro. They was like, yeah, you live like that too for the low cost of debt bondage. That's one. Yeah, my contract only.
The death grip, got rid of the king, got rid of the church, and now we have Elizabeth, who is Protestant, and she creates the statute of fraudulent deeds. And in here, you will find that if there's any fraudulent situations over conveyances, like trusts, deeds, you are now in jeopardy.
Oh, yeah.
By guileful and...
Oh, yeah, you in trouble if you stole anything, if you did anything. Nobody likes a thief.
covetous or fraudulent devices and practices, as aforesaid, we shall or might be in any ways disturbed, hindered, delayed, or defrauded to be clearly and utterly void, frustrate, and of none effect. If you created trust that was fraudulent, it was of none effect. So therefore, if the Founding Fathers were creating a trust in the Constitution, it had to be lawful.
That's right. And anything creating any smaller, minor estate from the trust must be lawful. Press one. Well, not just them. They wouldn't because they are people of nobility. They would never go against that. But you in the 1900s would, after the overthrow of you know who.
It had to be lawful. We go again to the statute against collusive and fraudulent conveyances, which also upholds this thought and line of idea. Number 3 down in the first paragraph says, or else by any secret intent of the parties, the same to be their own proper use, and at their free disposition. Number 4, colored nevertheless by a feigned countenance and show of words and sentences as though the same were made bona fide.
Say it again. They didn't want to live by the laws of the living God. There you have it. C. Lewis, well said. Remember, the crown descends. So, you didn't want to live by the rules of the living God, or the greatest high priest of them all, who represented you, your sovereign God, and you turned away like you did Jesus and Barnabas in the movie. Press one, that right there. That is so symbolic because you traded for a beast, a hideous monster. Press one. So,
for good causes, still upholding the fact that if you are creating something, it has to be lawful. It has to be lawful. This is the common law, this is the law of England, and this is the law that the Founding Fathers went by. They were lawful men. You will find constantly through these statutes repeatedly inheritances, repeatedly body politics, corporate, so that you can literally separate who is who without everything being piled up into a mishmash. We have the statute of frauds. It's a very important thing. We can't get to the statute of frauds when we go into court these days because the laws and the workings of the Mortmain government is not in its reach. It's not in its reach. We're going to show you how and why it's not in its reach. Okay? So when you go into a court saying, you know, this is fraudulent, the judge sitting there going, no, I don't think so. No, because you can't get to the common law. You are barred. The little diagram I showed you, there was a...
You are what? You are barred. What is the bar? Well, it's the Bar Association. You are legally incompetent to stand on your own. You are legally incompetent. You're a child. So we got this representative, or you can go buy a representative to speak for you, because you can't speak. Press 1. Your first and only phone call better be to somebody who can speak for you. So we're talking Bar Association.
Bar going down between the two columns on the right and the left.
Every criminal is barred.
There is a bar that goes down between the principles of liberties and the principles of Mortmain. We're literally stuck into Mortmain in dead hands. That's why we feel so frustrated when we go into court, knowing that there is justice somewhere, but we're not experiencing it, we're not feeling it, we don't see it, we don't get it, something's wrong. We are barred. We keep coming up against the steel wall.
What did Tupac say? You keep mashing your hands against the steel wall. That's what the white man wants you to do. What makes you ashamed of being black? Born black in the white man's world. Y'all got to really repeat knowledge.
Now, in order for you to understand where the power lies, the power does not lie in the articles, nor does it lie in the amendments.
It doesn't lie in the Articles of Confederation, and it doesn't lie in the amendments. Press 1. Just like Mr. Gillespie have told you. Where does it lie? Tell them. This is what we about to study this year. This is what we about to study. Tell them, where does the power lie? Tell us.
The power lies in the preamble.
And the preamble. And all my democratic rage people are like, what the hell is the preamble? It's in the preamble.
It is the preamble that creates the estate. It is the preamble that creates the trust. It is the preamble who tells you who it is, or who it isn't, actually.
Just X them right on out. It tells you who it is, and it tells you who it isn't. Press 1.
Okay? You must understand what an estate is so that you can see it. So that you can see the estate lying in here, and so that you can see the trust.
So you
Okay,
can see
we
the
know
trust.
that the English laws, it had to be a will or a trust. It wasn't a will. We're going to presume it's a trust because they had to make it legal and lawful. They weren't going to get hung. I don't think so. If I were to create a document today, I mean, I try to make things, my documents lawful. I'm trying to follow their laws, doing it right all along.
Remember I told you we were cut off? Barred. Why none of your supreme leaders and your black leaders go to the Supreme Court? They're cut off like Jack and the Beanstalk. He's cut off. Remember the scripture say, I will cut you off because you transgressed against the what? The law. You got to strive to get back now. You got to really...
Okay, so they were no different than we are. And I am a lawful person. You're going to have to turn this one sideways. This that we're going to go into is a book written by an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Henry Baldwin, in 1837. It was published. And it's a rather large, it's much larger than what I have given you. It's literally a book, and bless my friend who gave it to me, because she said, well, so-and-so says this, that, and the other, and it's found in here. And I said, oh, well, I'd like to read this. And when I read it, I said, well, so-and-so missed something. He missed on page 3 the first parts of these things. Okay, down on the bottom, you see where it starts out, to me, just above the star. I'm going to read down. To me it seems that it can be made intelligible, we're discussing the Constitution, in all its parts by applying to it those established rules and maxims of common law in the construction of statutes, and those accepted definitions of words, terms, and language in which they had been used and had been received as well known and understood in their ordinary or legal sense. That's why I have the Webster's Dictionary of 1828, because that's what the Constitution was written on, according to the subject matter. In appealing...
See? Understanding what it's all about is all understanding the 1828 Webster. And, again, the preamble is the cans and the cans do of the religious and or corporate state.
To the common law as the standard of exposition in all doubts as to the meaning of written instrument, there is safety.
All of it as a collective, of course, but when knowing the correct language, you get a big slice of the pie out of the preamble.
Certainty and authority. The institution of the colonies were based upon it. It was their free system of jurisprudence, with only local exceptions to suit the conditions of the colonists, who claimed it as their birthright and their inheritance.
So, would this corporation ever want you to see yourself as the colonists? Meaning the people who were chartered here, not destroyers of nations and enslavers of people. No. The colonists, the people of the colonies, the people who were on the royal charter, who came on boats, not as slaves, but as builders of nations. Freeman, or what would you guys consider, or what they call themselves, Masons, but builders of civilization. You got to think about the royal start of what you call America, remember? And you got to remember how you even got rights, not privileges, from a wartime maritime flag. You're under the banner of King George or George Washington the Great. So your flag is completely different from a wartime flag infringed in maritime law. It's the law of the water, the law of the sea. And if you know who controls the Holy See, you know the Catholic Church, once again. So you allow the international bankers and the foreign Catholic religious church to do what? Again, these are who you will call Nazis, communists. This is a free, sovereign nation. A communist and Nazi worst nightmare. But when you look back on Nazism, don't ask yourself why the Catholic Church helped the bankers change their identity when they got to America. Ask your goddamn self why you ain't pay no goddamn attention that they all is all orchestrated. Yeah, they all orchestrated. That's how it's illegal all around the board, from the church and Rockefeller going into business. The church was involved with Rockefeller and the Nazis, and Rockefeller was involved with the Nazis and the church. You know why? Because they all was involved with one another. That's why. Now, all this round the rosy, made up historical events when it's you. You're like Scooby-Doo again. That's why I say it's like Scooby-Doo. It's you. Trying to, and tell us you were a slave. You weren't no slave. You were freemen, remember? So if you freemen, you were operating up under the king who made you free. You know, when you became a federal government employee or Democrat, you turn and you denounce your sovereignty and your, because all of us are equal, remember? Yeah, all of us are equal, remember? So you traded in for this equal dream, and guess who got the ass end of the stick? You did, for transgressing against the law. They said, give me this Bible. You transgressed it. You don't need it no more anyway. You lose it. Now you're a criminal. Now we finna steal your name, deed, trust, your king. We finna take all the benefits that come with it. Thank you, and bring all of our family members here with your name. So we're going to bring Mr. Rothenberg. Yeah, we're going to bring his little cousins over here and call him Michael Douglas. Now, that's one. With your name. Oh, yeah. But you got to think of life. There's no weapons here needed. Just your mind frame, your ability to make sense of his story. Now, we got to think of a debt slave coming out of a slumber or a deep sleep, with euthanasia, press one, in like a zombie-like coma state. You know, they've been in position of hoping you don't see shit this whole time. So it's, you know, it takes a lot of knowledge to combat his historical events. But once you get the basics down about the Magna Carta and the revolution is really the overthrowers, you understand what I'm saying? The revolution ain't good. Because as soon as they overthrew the king who outlawed slavery, guess what they did? They put you in bondage. They put you in bondage. Oh yeah, bro, we helped. Good job. Got away from the king. No, bro. No. You was living well before that. Before J.P. Morgan and Grover Cleveland signed away the gold after a war and a national catastrophe, flood, press one, and the whole destruction of the West Coast, the so-called reset of the 1900s. Ooh, Ooh, man, Tupac was lying. You got to be careful about who you fuck with, family.
The common law was their birthright and their inheritance.
Common law is your birthright and your inheritance. So what's the difference between common law and communist law? Press 1. What's the difference between being a criminal and a freeman? What the fuck is wrong with you? You got to understand the benefit of what law is, common law, all this. Press 1. You reject just the law. You just think, we just carried on a gangbanger mentality, sort of like a criminal mindset.
So they were claiming the liberties that were given to them under the great charters and the laws of England. The Magna Carta bequeathed brought up the inheritance of liberties. And here they are claiming their inheritance, their birthright. We're having a problem getting to our birthright today.
Now, we know like hell, she ain't never had no problem getting to her birthright. But I'll let her speak for us. When we having a real problem getting to our birthright, aren't we? All right. I'm just saying, though. Learn how to conceive information. You know, damn well she know who she is. But she don't want to be the type of citizen no more. She going for the gusto.
The next page. From the beginning, I guess that's the first paragraph down, the little star up at the top. From the beginning till the consummation of the Revolution, the people of the colonies and states in all successive congresses, they had congresses at the time, took their stand upon the common law and Constitution of England as the heirs of freedom. English freemen, whose custom it is derived from their ancestors to make those tremble who dare to think of making them miserable.
Oh, what a dreadful day. Oh, Lord. Anybody who don't made these people miserable. And
God bless them.
God bless them.
Heirs of freedom. They didn't claim to be sovereign state citizens. Sovereign state citizenship did not exist.
Told you. I told you. Why they say, Kev, what you think about sovereign citizens? I don't know nothing about it. That didn't exist from the perspective that I'm coming from. There's no such thing of sovereign citizen. There is a sovereign. There's nobility. Yeah, there's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. You trying to help her. You like her trying to find a way in like Puff Daddy. Take that. Kind of money he's trying to get in like, oh, man, what? Turns out you're from Guam. Press 1. And press 1. And the DNA is proved, Press 1. You don't even remind nobody of a damn African American. Press 1.
Didn't exist until the king said, here is the Treaty of Peace. You're a sovereign citizen or whatever.
The Treaty of Peace. Here we go. Remember? French? Treaty of Peace. Remember? Indian War? Remember? Indian? That don't ring a bell. Treaty of Peace. Bing, ding, bingo, bingo. There it is. French. Fucking betrayers. Press 1. There it is.
He said. It didn't exist. Who were they? What were they to call themselves? They called themselves heirs of freedom. This preempts state citizenship.
This what? What? This what? What? This what? State citizen. What? Do you know who we are? You want to go where everyone knows your name? Press 1. I'm trying to teach you something.
This is who they define themselves as. You won't find a state citizen mentioned in the preamble because it did not exist.
That all came after Theodore and them took over, and Martin Luther King and them helped you.
But an inheritance did. So did estate laws. So did trusts. So now we have heirs of freedom. An heir. Down on the bottom again, it mentions more about the inheritance left us by our forefathers. Our inheritance. The great bulwark of our Constitution. The first and best maxims of the Constitution. You think the best maxim is the Articles or the First Amendment? No, it's in the preamble. It's the first maxim. Venerable to Britons and Americans, whose forefathers participated in the rights and liberties they boasted of and conveyed the same fair inheritance to them. We have a conveyance. Convey, inheritance, freedom. It was called the covenant chain on the next page at the star, between the mother country and them. The charters of the king were their written civil constitutions of government, and the colonies would not part with or lose their hold of this covenant chain. There is a covenant of liberty.
I keep telling you, it's all about covenants and contracts. Covenants, family. Remember the covenant. That's what God tell you to do.
Covenant, promise, guarantee, secure.
Remember the promise.
It's a covenant.
Come on, y'all. Come on. I'm ordering my lunch
Now,
right now.
you should read this. It's very important. It's boring to read all of this. I've gone through book after document, sucking it all in, absorbing it, getting the picture. And I keep coming up with, and you should too, look for your inheritance. In today's laws, you'll find in, say, Amjor 2D, you'll read a sentence and you go, I don't get this, I don't understand it. Well, that's not talking about you. Guaranteed. When you understand the trust and the estate, then you can go and read something in Amjor and you will find yourself segregating everything because it has been commingled. Everything has been commingled.
See?
Which is a no-no.
Which is a no-no. You started to think you assimilated yourself. Which is a no-no.
In trusts. Okay?
Yeah. Not in your personal life. Not like, oh, I want to marry a white woman or a black man or nothing like that. Oh, no. In trust. No. In law. In real trust. Passing down of heritage and nobility. Because there's rules to. I mean, if I give my trust to an Indian woman somewhere in India, if I marry an Indian, what about my little nobility kids? It'd bring in too much confliction. So it would need to be nobility and nobility, or someone brought into nobility of the nation. That's crazy. But not crazy, but that's pretty much how it went. They got you to think, oh, you're going to fight for your rights and be able to marry whoever you want to and this one and that one. No, you were just legitimizing the overthrow. That's all you were doing.
Now, back to this. On the next page, which would be 6.
You heard what I said? I said you were legitimizing their overthrow. That's like the Martin Luther King situation. Man, do I love the brother. You know, but even he's, the burning house, you got to put more umph on it. He was legitimizing their overthrow, and we were nationalizing a foreign nation with our racist, free at last type of shit, when that's not our fight. Our fight is way over there at the supreme level, Supreme Courts, thing of that nature. Because again, nobody ever wanted to go here, there, all the way back around and preach from a microphone in the middle of the state capitol. None of that matters. if you're not in law, if you're not in that court building that says at the supreme level, give us free and charge them. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about. Hit that like button and subscribe. I was about to do my shout outs on my Cash App, but I'll wait. Shout out to y'all.
Okay, and please don't laugh. There is a circular object. This is the seal of the Magna Carta. Okay? I said not laugh. Okay. That was you, wasn't it? I know. Okay, now you will notice in here, let's see, where do I find to the journal, okay, to the journal published by their order. Now we're talking about the Founding Fathers and their first journal of Congress, okay? To the journal published by their order and verified by the autograph of their secretary is prefixed in the title page a medallion of which the following is a facsimile. The medallion is the Magna Carta, the seal of Magna Carta, on the first journal of Congress. The Magna Carta of England was the pedestal on which the column and cap of liberty was raised, supported by the 12 colonies assembled by their delegates, declaring, "On this we rely, on this we shall defend." They are defending their inherent liberties as enumerated in the Magna Carta.
Boom.
They had written this.
Boom.
This was already written. But they were defending the Magna Carta because the Magna Carta is in here.
Bingo.
You don't see it, but it's in there. They were defending it. They brought it down forward and they were passing it on in the preamble. They created an estate of liberty, and it's sitting there in the preamble. Your
See,
liberty is an estate.
Your liberty is a minor estate. It's a charitable estate. Yeah, your 14th is my 13th. Meaning, my end was your beginning, and your end is sort of like the rebirth of the old. And it'll play out just like how it's playing out today. Identifying yourself, who was this, who's a North African, who's an Asian, who's a... Even though Scripture say everybody will return home to their own homeland, the only people going to be left is you. You ain't even going to have to look around and say, what the fuck is this? What happened? There's going to be too many, oh, please don't go, for you to comprehend. Okay.
This is the seal of the Magna Carta. Okay? I said not laugh. Okay. That was you, wasn't it? I know. Okay, now you will notice in here, let's see, where do I find to the journal, okay, to the journal published by their order. Now we're talking about the Founding Fathers and their first journal of Congress, okay? To the journal published by their order and verified by the autograph of their secretary is prefixed in the title page a medallion of which the following is a facsimile. The medallion is the Magna Carta, the seal of Magna Carta, on the first journal of Congress. The Magna Carta of England was the pedestal on which the column and cap of liberty was raised, supported by the 12 colonies assembled by their delegates, declaring, "On this we rely, on this we shall defend." They are defending their inherent liberties as enumerated in the Magna Carta.
As enumerated from where? The Magna Carta. Not anywhere else but the Magna Carta. That means you're identifying yourself as descendants of Freeman. not just by saying we black people of America and the foundation or nothing. What are you really saying? Make your words line the fuck up. Press 1. Because, again, if she's trying to steal it, who do you think she's trying to steal it from? Somebody who don't know they got it. Old white people don't steal like that.
They had written this. This was already written. But they were defending the Magna Carta because the Magna Carta is in here. You don't see it, but it's in there. They were defending it. They brought it down forward, and they were passing it on in the preamble.
But it still restricts. It still restricts. Don't get it twisted. It still restricts and tells what the corporation and the religious structures can actually do, and still prevents them from, whether it's from the minor state. But again, this is a way for them to steal, to hijack, by getting the original estate further and further out of your mind. You won't even think. If you're from Africa, you wouldn't think you're a beneficiary of no estate. You see what I'm saying? If they can put you there, what estate? If they can get you to believe that you come from way over there in a tribe in the 1900, right here, and they're the ones who established this, and you know, press 1, and you know they just got here, that's on you, baby. Plausible deniability on their behalf. If you can, you have to prove it.
They created an estate of liberty, and it's sitting there in the preamble. Your liberty is an estate.
It's a minor estate. It's an estate.
Page 10, second underline section. I underline everything.
You can't walk around the earth and say, oh, we kings and we queens and this one and that one. No. Explain it. How are you kings and queens? Oh, when we was in Africa, they seen us.
For my posterity to find. Page 10, it says, now we're still discussing the Constitution by Mr. Baldwin. And he says that the Constitution, the intent by the framer was to endure for ages to come and designed to approach immortality. Now, it truly is. This is the finest document in the world.
It's the Holy
It
Grail.
is beautiful once you get to see the picture of it all. What the Founding Fathers left us was the finest estate in trust that this world has ever known. And through guile practices, we, the heirs of freedom, have
I thought you said heirs of liberty, man.
literally had our estate stolen from us.
No, we had our estate stolen from us. But thank you for the in it. You see the understanding? Listen to it.
Our inheritance, our liberty. It is an estate. Now, over on the right, you will see that the Constitution is a grant. Trusts, grants and trusts go in the same hand. They're hand in hand. A grant creates trust. It creates a use. Okay? Let's see, if there's the grant does not convey power which might be beneficial to the grantor if retained by himself, or which can move solely to the benefit of the grantee. Okay, the government says, well, this is a grant, they granted us power. Yes, we did. The people, the Founding Fathers granted them power.
The people granted them power. And just as fast as you granted it, you can take it away.
But the power that was granted was for them to work in a corporate structure and applied only to things that they owned or that which was ceded to them or granted to them.
Charitable.
So under their corporate structure, they had to own it, have it ceded to them, or have it granted to them. And that's how the corporation worked. It worked on those things. Only those things. Down at the bottom, you'll see...
See, and they ripped you off by insurance. See, the trustees, the people of the corporation who actually work the whole Wizard of Oz entertainment ship, anyway, they went off and did their own thing and developed insurance companies and just let people run insane and used up all the money for wars and insured the ships and the people insured, and they made a killing, didn't they?
I have the words things written on there.
That's why I tell you all about the Lloyds of London. That's why.
This gentleman is beautiful. I mean, he so defines it. Constitution creates things, not names. We're going to be constantly looking for the thing that it creates. Okay? In the preamble, the thing is the estate.
You see?
There are no names there. It's a thing.
The estate.
Okay. Page 24. Now, in this paragraph that I have marked, Mr. Baldwin starts to discuss, no, it's the second paragraph down, states, inherent rights, okay? This is the essence of supreme and sovereign power, which testifies that the ultimate absolute sovereignty is in the several states and the people thereof, who can do by inherent right and power anything in relation to the Constitution or change of government, except depriving a small state of equal suffrage.
So they can change the rules and all that, but you granted them power to do so. But that's how powerful this really is, because they can really just, you know what? You guys are too far in debt and have destroyed things. Get out of here. And there's nothing they can do. Just go. That's how deep this is. Oh yeah, you're just gonna have to go. You just caused too much trouble. And you're a racist. And because you don't know how these orchestrations of law works, and you're not under them. God put you above. You're in the only place where you can vote this to be your way of life or not. You're the only place in the world who can do that.
In the Senate. Not in the United States or the people thereof as one nation or one people, who in their unity of character or power can do nothing either by inherent right or representation as a majority. Inherent rights.
As a what? Majority. As long as you can maintain this structure, press what? This is deep.
Of the people of the states. Not the people of the United States, but the people of the states. Who are the people of the United States? They are 14th Amendment citizens.
Yeah. So why don't you want to be that anymore? Here it comes. And why do you want to be a 14th Amendment citizen? That's when you got your right. Remember? Civil right? Remember?
14th Amendment citizens have no inherent rights.
She mad at the motherfucker. Motherfucker, we just find the fuck out. We ain't got no motherfucking right. We got all this white privilege. What the fuck are you talking about? We ain't got no damn right. Press what? Do you understand the psychology from this lady here who understands? What the fuck do you mean? We ain't got no right. We don't have inheritance. What do you mean? That mean at any time this shit can go bad and we can have to send people back instead of bring them here. It's part of how it works. That's why knowing your past is very important.
Only the people of the states.
Only the people of the states.
Several states.
The several states.
God bless you, Mr. Baldwin. Lovely. The features of the British and federal governments compared. Okay. Down by the little arrows. The powers not delegated or prohibited being reserved to the states respectively or the people, none can exist by prerogative or inherent power in any branch of the government. Hence, the effect of a specification of the powers granted and prohibited and the express reservation of all others leaves to the states all the prerogative powers of the king over those subjects which are involved in these four cases, the ones that Mr. Baldwin was talking about, or going to be looking at, either directly or collaterally, on none of which any powers granted to the United States by this Constitution. Then he goes into charters of incorporation, franchises over public rivers, etc.
You know what I think they did? I think they brought a whole army over here by way of corporation and usurped the government in association with Japan. I think all of these foreigners was over here by way of a broken up trust and usurped the whole government by way of corporation, federal jurisdiction,
etc., etc. Now then he goes into descent, okay, and he says that the king of England we're discussing is a natural person on whom the crown descends by hereditary right as real estate does.
as real estate does.
This here is to come to us by descent and distribution. Okay, it descends upon the heir. You don't choose it. It just comes to you. It's your.
This is where their manifestation, manifest destiny comes into play, where it descended on them through the spirit of whatever that they was fucking going through. But in reality, it descends through the air, through the specific bloodline, and the control of it all goes through this. And the estate is handed down from father to son, to his sons, to their sons, and so forth and so on. And just a beautiful display of, wow, look at them.
Of course, it descends like I drop it on you, fall.
Remember, the 14th is a charitable usage. Remember this shit, y'all.
It falls upon you.
Devolves.
Devolves. We got to try to keep this simple. On page 56, Mr. Baldwin says, in other respects, the great features of both governments are the same. Both established by the people of the estates, E-S-T-A-T-E-S, of one, the states of the other. Each state or estate represented by their representatives in distinct bodies. Okay. Estates and state. Could the state of California be the estate of California?
Do you see that? Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now we are going to stop.
Could it all be not states, but estates? You see? Could it all be estates?
Going to look for a definition of estate. Estate, in Noah Webster's Dictionary of 1829, number 1, in a general sense, fixedness, a fixed condition, now generally written and pronounced S-T-A-T-E. And number 6,
This is deep shit,
the
man.
general business or interest of government, hence a political body, a commonwealth, a republic. But in this sense, we now use S-T-A-T-E.
See, this is either used as in its sovereign sense of the republic or this way. Doesn't matter, but you get this. You get the context, correct? It's not just the people of the republic. You don't just say I am the people of the republic. You got to know what all that means. You're in sovereign and all that means.
So here we have 13 colonies who are going to be, who are 13 estates,
Look at
creating a document of estates
look. That's it.
for estates, for the people of the estates. And when I say the word state from now on, it is going to mean to you estate, even if it's a capital S as compared to a small s, because there are separate estates.
See?
In reality, I perceive the capital S state to be a corporate function in Mortmain. Perceived.
So if the capital estate is in Mortmain, that means it's in the possession of, okay, like we've been saying, who's put you on the stock market? I mean, they're busted. They busted with it in their hands. It's like who stole the cookie out the cookie jar?
Oh, now we can go back. Okay. Okay, page 58. We go into the estates again. And Mr. Baldwin he goes into the estates of England, who they were, what their function was. And down at the marked section, the lords represented the two estates of the nobility and clergy. Okay, page 58.
The two estates. We're talking the two estates, nobility and the clergy. Remember, the clergy handle the law. The church. Only law the church handle now is they don't even follow no law. They just sing and dance in the church and walk around and say blessings to Jesus. They have no law or no knowledge of no law and how their role plays the biggest part in keeping the moral fortitude of the law. That's why the church is there in your communities, to be the reminder that, nigga, you're going to end up in jail if you don't keep going. And these are the judgments. Press 1, I told you so, looking at. But no, the church just taking part in the 501(c) corporate structure once again.
They sat in their own right, representing themselves and property as two estates or states of the nation or realm, wholly distinct from the third estate or state. That estate was the whole body of the people, represented in the convention of the commons. As there was no king, there could be no parliament or house of commons in any other capacity than in convention.
Boom.
Pardon me. This was at the time when the throne was abdicated. Life went on as normal. In England, the representatives still met. They still passed laws. They did everything they were supposed to do until the crown was placed upon another body, human entity.
Okay, okay. The crown was placed upon another body. Press 1. Now, where did that happen? Where did that happen? But we're going to keep it going.
So at this point in our time, you can...
She even says, human. Where did, since she brought it up, where did it descend? Where was the crown placed on another body, a human entity? Well, when it was taken from your king hands and placed on a foreign person, a human, a regular person. You went from the royals and holy people and nobility and damn near something else to beggars, and they went from human to sovereigns? Yes.
guarantee that our crown has been abdicated, or they are trying to abdicate.
Well, it was advocated when it was taken and placed on another body. That was the perception, that it was advocated.
The throne by getting rid of the sovereign state citizens.
Boom. How did you get rid of the sovereign state citizens?
As we know them.
As we know them. Okay, look at her face. It's hard to say who the sovereign state citizen is. Okay? You are property of George. You are bought, paid for, yet to be redeemed as shit. Okay?
And making everybody into a United States citizen.
Boom. Making everybody. So who is that state citizen? Well, those are your war heroes of the past. I told you who was genocided.
Who has no inherent power.
Damn.
The state citizen has it. Not
the state citizen. You got all the power. Once you find out that you're the state citizen, you got all the power.
Not the United States citizen.
Not the United States. That's the difference between the 13th and the 14th.
So how do you gain the power? You get rid of the state citizen.
So how do you gain the power? You get rid of the state citizen. What is that? How do you get rid of state citizen, family? What have I been teaching you? Black Holocaust. Genocide. You see? Who, what, where, when, why, and sometimes motherfucking how. For all genocide. How else you gonna get rid of the state citizen? Tell their sons and daughters they from Africa. That's what.
This is genocide.
Listen.
This is absolute genocide.
Absolute.
They did everything they were supposed to do until the crown was placed upon another body, human entity. So at this point in our time, you can guarantee that our crown has been abdicated, or they are trying to abdicate the throne by getting rid of the sovereign state citizens as we know them and making everybody into a United States citizen who has no inherent power.
Boom. So when did they become United States? Boom. Boom. And who is the state citizen who was what? Genocided. Who was that? Who was assimilated and who was genocided?
The state citizen has it, not the United States citizen.
So how do you get it from the state citizen?
So how do you gain the power? You get rid of the state citizen. This is genocide.
So you make them state property. Turn them into criminals.
This is absolute genocide.
What did Dawes do? Paper genocide. 13th Amendment, genocide. Took your name, turned them into straight numbers, put you in the military. You never made it back. You never made it back.
Now you can all say they're genociding me, and you know that they are.
Look, now you can say they're all genociding, and you know that they are.
They have.
They have.
Whoever they are.
Whoever they are, listen.
We're going to come to find out that you yourself is genociding yourself, or have genocided yourself.
Why?
But you were forced to to have this estate has either become illegal or it is null and void.
This is why this is happening to you. This is what it is all about, right? Nobody want to tell you you're a sovereign, you're Freeman, by way of the king line. You never would think about that. The only thing you know is Africa, but that's given to you by the Rockefeller Foundation and Reading Rainbow and Sesame Street program.
According to law. Not moral law, but according to written law. Now, okay, do we all get what an estate is as far as, I mean, superficially that we're discussing estates? Okay, and we all agree that we have an estate. Now we're going to find out what an estate is and what it looks like.
What page are you on, Dan?
We're going to go to an introduction to the law of real property. This is an excellent little book. This is the little book. It's a little book. It's lovely. It's beautiful. Cornelius J. Moynihan. Now, what does an estate look like? What is an estate? Page 28, Chapter 2, Freehold Estates. Sounds good to me. Freehold, holding it freely. It's free. And you will go to the underline and mark spots. Okay, okay. The word estate is a feudal origin and is derived from the Latin word status. Please send us your Social Security number so we might know your status.
Okay. Okay, so it's really just your status, and it's the transference of that to mean something else, but you get the logistics.
What your estate is. It speaks to us of time when land holding was inseparably connected with a man's political and personal status in the community. I say that it is still connected.
Very much absolutely.
The next paragraph. The estate in fee simple is of potentially infinite duration. A life estate, or estate for years, is a finite duration. Life estate, freehold, fee simple. Okay? These are two different types of estates. We have the fee simple absolute is one type, life estate is another. On the other page, an estate in fee simple was and still is the largest estate known to law. It donates the maximum of legal ownership, the greatest possible aggregate of rights, powers, privileges, and immunities which a person may have in land. Now, when it comes to your rights, okay, when it says may have in land, all of your rights as a human being attached to the land or the estate you are in possession of.
See how that works? You're not under the water laws of water. You're on the land just like God breathed you right there on the land and grafted you up out the earth right there. It's all there.
Okay? You might not own any land, but there is an estate and your rights attach to that particular estate. This estate here was a fee simple absolute. Is a fee simple absolute. Okay. Littleton, in his famous treatise of tenures written in the 15th century, began his book by defining the estate thus: tenant in fee simple is he which hath lands or tenements to hold to him and his heirs forever. This definition is still valid. Now, do you notice right there where it says to hold to him and his heirs forever? This is very important. Just those words. Okay? To him and his heirs forever. On the next page, you will see the statute of uses brought into our line of thought and estate.
Now, once you realize you were genocided, that the state citizen was genocided, right? You got to realize that they came in by way of the 14th Amendment. It's like they're, remember, if you guys seen that movie, that show, Man in the High Castle, at the end where all the immigrants came through that tunnel and they were all like, wow, it was like their entryway and it's indefinite. So that's what it's all symbolic of. Okay, it's a gateway portal to freedom, pretty much, because we genocided them. Remember, I'm the only one talking about the African American genocide. We genocided them. We threw them in concentration camps, in ghettos, aka prisons, and shot their ass down, destroyed their lineage, stole their property, took their names. I mean, completely wiped them out corporately. They didn't know what was coming. And their kids believe they from Africa. We don't raise their kids to believe they from Africa. They have no, and they gonna be our slaves forever now. You see how that worked? All this happened in 1900. They genocided you. Eugenics, Planned Parenthood, all Nazi programs, all Nazi programs, to exterminating programs, bombing you, destroying all of y'all communities all over the place. Oh yeah, they genocided you and then stole your inheritance or made a minor trust. Don't you understand now? You get it? And started funneling your money through them. See, if they can get you to be a criminal, shit, they can charge the estate up everything. You feel me? Make money off of you and double up. All they gotta do is move you around, make a few more $1,000s right out your estate. Because you can't control yourself, criminal.
And down at the bottom, you'll see that
If you wasn't a criminal, where do you think the police be at in your community? You see what I'm saying? They have no jurisdiction over freemen. Only criminals.
the law of real property of today is result of the application of both common law and equitable doctrines, and it was by means of this institution of uses that equity came into contact with the land law. Now we have, it's melding, okay, it's coming together. The statute of uses creating a trust now connects to the land.
You see that? It's like the water and the land merging. It's like the fringe around the flag now. You feel what I'm saying? With the charitable trust. It all is a way for everybody to take part in common law and sovereignty and your birthright rather than just yourself. And now you've been beat down to a point where you don't even know what your birthright is. You don't even know that's your birthright. They're all piggybacking off of. Yeah, because when they go home, their names is way something else. Scandinavian, German, something else. This is a borrowed name. And it's borrowed from the people they hate the most. You.
Okay? It comes together. The beneficial enjoyment, like I said, the trust was for your use. A trust is for your use. Your beneficial enjoyment. Your enjoyment, period.
When they say white privilege, that's what it is. It's the enjoyment of being a benefit of the trust. Do you understand that? That's what so-called holy privilege is. See, And they really don't understand what God is and law and none of that stuff. So that's what makes it Antichrist. And cosplay at the same time is like, damn, y'all playing a role that's backward and upside down and destroying the whole thought process of what God is, what his son was, what the spirit of truth is, who John is, or what the revelation of Christ is. Nothing, just pretending.
On page 219, let's skip that page. We'll go to the survey of law of property. Okay? Because this is where we're going to see the trust or the estate in the preamble. And I wish this was a little clearer copy for you. I must apologize. Down in the paragraph that I start underlining, now in law, when you have an object to convey, they don't use the person's name. Okay, it's A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z represent a person, a human being. Black acre or white acre or green acre, some sort of acre, represents the object they are conveying. Okay, so if I say A conveys black acre to B, I'm A, you're B, this is black acre. Okay, now we know that we're talking about people, who I am, who you are, and what I convey. A conveys. So in the paragraph below, okay, we're conveying a fee simple absolute in this paragraph. It was an estate in fee simple, which is the largest estate known to law. It donates the maximum of legal ownership, the greatest possible aggregate of rights, privileges, and powers and immunities. Again, we have said we go to rights. Okay, we're conveying rights. Everything is in the estate. Privileges, powers, and immunities which a person may have in land. Again, it attaches to the land. It is not separate from. It is of potentially infinite duration. By the year 1250, the words "and his heirs" had become the only ones by which a fee simple could be conveyed. The word "be" and his heirs meant be in fee simple without any qualification whatsoever. But the words "be" in fee simple used in a deed would give "be" only a life estate. Okay? The words in the deed had to be "be and his heirs." The words "and his heirs" used in a deed were construed as words of limitation. Limitation? Say what? Wrong. That is, they describe the quantum or size of the estate transferred to be. The size. It wasn't a restriction, a limitation. It was not the restriction. It was the size of the estate. Strange as it may seem, the word limitation is contrary to what you think it should be. It's the size. The words of limitation indicate what is taken. Words of purchase indicate the grantees or persons who take it. We must be very clear. Okay, when you name somebody, now we are saying something about words of purchase. Okay, if I were to say A conveys black acre to B and his heirs and his son John, we just limited the size of the estate. We made it smaller. When you name the heir, it lessens it. That is why the heir is not mentioned in the preamble. We the people, A, convey Blackacre for a more perfect union, establish justice to ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty. This is Blackacre. This is the estate. It is the estate. A conveys Blackacre to B and his heirs. Right there is the estate. Do you see it? Do you get it? A conveys Blackacre to B and his heirs. It's sitting right there. Have you ever seen it? Did you ever see it before? No, you've never seen it before. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's an estate. It's an estate being conveyed. It is a fee simple absolute, a freehold. Who are the heirs? You can't name them. That's why they didn't put, we the people conveyed to ourselves and state citizens. You say, if they said that, it would have diminished not only our estate, but their estate. They were getting a life estate if they did that. They protected themselves, their estate. They protected our estate. It's of indefinite duration. It can last forever. Infinitely, and infinitively? Infinitely, right. It's a fee simple absolute. I saw this, and I thought, my God, that's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's right there in front of all of us. And we've never seen it. Never saw it. But why haven't we seen it? Could it be being kept from us? Does it apply? We hear from these offside roots that the preamble or the Constitution is outdated and outmoded, yes, because they have gotten rid of the heirs and it is not valid anymore. Why should we keep it around?
Did you hear that? I mean, if the heirs ain't around, why honor why honor the preamble? Why honor the Magna? If we genocided them, I mean, they just don't know. At the very least, they're minors. They don't even know anything. We have all of their kids. Like,
we hear from these offside roots that the preamble or the Constitution is outdated and outmoded, yes, because they have gotten rid of the heirs and it is not valid anymore. Why should we keep it around? Let's get rid of it. I heard by word of mouth, I don't keep up with these things, that one of the people who ran for presidency last time wanted to have a constitutional convention. Well, if the throne has been abdicated, a constitutional convention is proper so that the throne can descend to something or someone else.
bingo. So you can put it on Mickey Mouse. Press 1, you can put it on international corporation. You can call it the president of a bank and just leave it the president. But if you knew the founding fathers We're noblemen. What the fuck is a president? That's the president of a bank, of an established banking cartel.
Because we no longer need the Constitution as it is. It's outdated, isn't it? Well, you might think so, but I don't. On page 34, we come to a thing. You will notice that I have put some writing up at the top. It says restraint on alienation. Okay, case 40. A being, the fee simple owner of Blackacre, executed his deed to B as grantee in the following words. I hereby grant Blackacre to B and his heirs, but upon the express condition that it shall not be competent for B to dispose of or alienate said Blackacre for a period of 5 years after he receives the title of such property. Okay, so someone's attempting to pass a fee simple absolute here with a big but. But he can't do this or that or the other. So what type of estate does he really have? And down there you'll see the answer is C has a fee simple absolute in Blackacre. This question does not involve either a determinal fee simple or a fee simple on conditions subsequent, for no intention appears on the face of the deed. Here is a fee simple estate vested in B. The grantor then attempts to impose upon the grantee, B, a restraint on his power to alienate or dispose of the fee simple estate. Is such restraint valid? The answer is an unequivocal no. You have no power, no right to restrain a fee simple absolute in any way, shape, or form.
You hear that? Any way, shape, or form. That goes back to Elizabeth Mortimer. Press 1. Any way, shape, or form. It's illegal.
You can put no conditions on it. Restraint on alienation. Pigeonhole that word. Because at this time, your Social Security number is a restraint on alienation to that estate.
And not only the Social Security card, you guys, since you're a criminal, all black people, those little numbers they give you that create little accounts in the jail, those types of instances.
Okay, let's see.
What page are you on, Bunny?
I am now on page 79. We're going into
And what do
freehold
they tell
estates.
you when you go to jail? Sign right here. You're giving up your constitutional right. We need to be able to make this account. It's like banking. We need to be able to make this account out of this. After all these fines you got to pay. Hold your ass responsible.
Still. An estate of freehold is an estate of indeterminate duration other than an estate at will or by sufferance. Again, it says so. Indeterminate duration. This is what makes the Constitution infinite, to last for all ages, for all societies. Okay, this makes it immortal. It's beautiful. It is an immortal thing. It's there.
Immortal means it's always in play. It can never be forgotten about. Ever. These rules are set. Remember I was doing my shows and Kwame say, Kev, nobody give a damn about your history class. That don't affect us today. Oh, boy, is he lost in the sauce. It has everything to do with our captivity. Everything.
Life estates, life estates. Life estates, now, I should have something on life estates in here. I know they're there. I hope we get to them. But we're going to throw something in on life estates. When you get to life estates, we have conditions on estates, okay? You can no longer waste. In a freehold estate, the fee simple absolute, the heir or the posterity, the person who has the estate, they can waste any portion of it they want.
You see, they changed the rules. They made it so there's no wasteful spending with you. They can spend it on. If they want to give it to Ukraine, they give it to Ukraine. If they want to give it to Israel, they'll give it to Israel. If they want to fund their other friends in Germany and Russia and Spain and Dutch and they just do it. That power is yours. Oh, excuse me. That power is the king's, your servant. The people. This is the God. This is why sovereignty and this power righteous power can only come through the heirs.
They can burn it, shred it, throw it away, give it away, anything they want. That's waste, okay? That owner can waste.
If you burn $100 bill, $1,000, that's a crime. They can burn it live on TV, $1 billion, and we'll say, well, it must have been evil money. You see what I'm saying? That type of power is for the sovereigns, not some old corporate police agency some damn where.
But when it comes to a life estate, no. There is no wasting in life estates. No wasting in life estates.
That mean 14th Amendment citizens cannot waste for spend.
You're subject to duties, regulations, and laws. Wonder what kind of a state the 14th Amendment is.
Told you.
Here's a good one.
What page are you on, buddy?
We're on page 80. Some of the authorities, this is the third paragraph down, in an attempt to exactitude. I'm not always good at reading. Okay. Have employed the term fee simple absolute in such a case or in such a way as to set it off as a distinct legal concept. Totally new concept. Thus it has been stated that an estate in fee simple absolute means a perfect title. It is the entire and absolute interest and property in the land. Interest in the land. Your rights and duties to it are an interest in that. You have no duties, though, in a fee simple absolute, so your privileges, immunities, or everything is an interest in the estate.
You see? Your privileges and duties are all about that. When you see people, they be saying they're white privilege, but this is the privilege of nobility, of sovereigns.
Difficult to pay. Page 81. Second sentence, there can be only one estate in fee simple to a particular tract of land. It is an estate of inheritance unlimited in duration, descendable to all the heirs of the owner alike to the remotest generations. And aside from the fact that it may be created so as to be defeasible and subject to executory limitations, or granted or devised subject to a condition subsequent, it is with respect to its duration and enjoyment as an interest in property clear of any qualification or condition. It has been defined as an estate of perpetuity confining an unlimited power of alienation that or than which no person is capable of having a greater interest. And down at the bottom in the footnote, you will see that an estate which must be a fee simple is absolute, complete, and self-sufficient. An estate which must be nourished or kept alive by the grantee is obviously conditional or qualified or limited. This element of insecurity implicit in the grant impairs the totality and permanency of the estate, and such an estate is not a fee simple. Insecurity? Are you feeling insecurity with your estate? If we had our estate, we would not be feeling insecure.
See? Now they got the U.S. military. They've been secured this whole time. Why is she looking at them like that? See, I could say the same thing to you. If you had your estate, you wouldn't be so insecure now, would you? Nope. They got their estate. They got what was just due.
And insecurity is running rampant in this country amongst people. Heavy insecurities. Not
Listen.
Trusting the other person.
Look, blood.
Not trusting your brother.
Look, this is you.
Your sister.
This is you.
Blaming everything on someone else.
Told you. This is the state of mind that you in. Not that she thinks it's funny. She's trying to find a way of saying it without you noticing shit.
He did it. Republicans did it. No, the Democrats did it. No, the Latins did it. The Spanish did it. The Mexicans did it. The black people did it. The white people did it. The Koreans did it. Somebody else did it. Nobody is taking responsibility. They don't know who did it. They have absolutely no idea what's going on.
See?
Oh, let's see. Use possession. On page 83 in estates, it brings up the use and possession of property constitutes a gift. Let's see. Oh, we have the metaphysical concept of title. I like that word metaphysical. You know, for a long time I thought metaphysical meant ooh, you know, I didn't understand ooh, you know, until my good friend said metaphysical means thinking, thought process. Yeah, I like that word. I can understand thinking. It seems like that's all I ever do.
Well, if you quit, you're in trouble.
Yes, I believe so. I'm passing on to more pages. Okay, exception to the rule, reservation of the grantor. Here, we must understand exceptions. Okay, on page 90, the common law rule requiring words of inheritance in a conveyance to pass a fee simple was subject to many well-established exceptions. Thus, although it was usually held that words of inheritance were necessary to establish a fee in a grant containing a reservation in favor of the grantor, because a reservation is technically speaking a regrant of the property, no words of inheritance were necessary to establish an exception in fee simple in favor of the grantor, since an exception excluded from a conveyance that which would otherwise pass. Now, in the Constitution, the Fifth Amendment and certain things are exceptions. That power that was reserved to the people is an exception. Okay, now exceptions are very important when it comes to the estate. Okay, even though they put words of inheritance in here, okay, there are still found exceptions in the body of the Constitution outside of here. And we must find those exceptions at time. In the Fifth Amendment, were reserved. This is, by the way, this is where liberty is in the Fifth Amendment. I had a couple pages of index on the Constitution, what is found where. Liberty is only found in the Fifth Amendment. That was interesting. The let's see, the blessings, where is it? There, nowhere in the Constitution is found domestic tranquility. There is no corporate power to administrate domestic tranquility. Yet it's in the preamble. It's part of the estate. It's supposed to exist. Obviously, we're not getting our domestic tranquility these days, but yet it is part of the estate and is not listed anywhere or even under any subject of the remainder of the Constitution. And liberty is only found in the Fifth Amendment. Now, the common defense and everything, all these other words, common defense, general welfare, that is enormous, and that is what they're administrating under the corporate mortmain jurisdiction. But several of these things just aren't being administrated under corporate function. It's kind of nice to know that they have something they can't administrate. So when I write to them, I'd like to have my domestic tranquility as part of the estate. Now, am I going too slow or too fast for most of you? Am I doing okay? All right. Oh, here's a good one. It's page 91, up at the top. It says, a grant to the government or a subdivision thereof as for the use of the United States forever contains sufficient words to vest an absolute fee simple. Now, I want you to just pigeonhole this idea of a grant to the government. Okay? In the United States, the common law rule requiring words of inheritance and a conveyance to pass a fee simple has never been applied to a conveyance to a trustee. The estate taken by a trustee is measured by the duties he is required to perform. Like the articles. And the exigencies of the trust, and not by the presence or absence of words of inheritance. But yet there they are, still there. Hence, in any particular grant to a trustee of a fee simple title is necessary to the performance of the trust. A fee simple passes even though the word heirs was not used in the conveyance. Contrary rule is obtained in England, however. So the articles are the duties of the trustees in this estate. Supposed to have gold and silver, all those good things, you know, as money. That's a duty of the trustee.
Again, they signed the gold off to J.P. Morgan, violating every bit of the trust and and pretty much going against their position and what they're even entitled to do. Why? Because we don't know how to hold them accountable. What we're learning.
Very interesting. Gold and silver is the trust fund, the money, okay? If that's the money in this estate, what is a Federal Reserve note?
So you got to go ask yourself, why did they steal the gold? Who did they steal the gold from? They stole it from the king. They stole it from the beneficiaries. He gave it all. You get what I'm saying? So they had the people denounce the patriarch or the monarch, as you know them today, and denounced their sovereignty and joined the Federation and became federal citizens.
Who is Federal Reserve Note for?
Then you got a Federal Reserve Note, which is nothing compared to what you had. You had the gold bullion. Now you got Federal Reserve Note by the banks of in offshore in fucking Sweden, some damn where, in London. So in order to get back right, you got to treat this like Dorothy and the Yellow Brick Road. You got to follow the money. You know where they got it from. Now, who ended up with it? That's what we do here. Is ask the real questions and get to the definitive.
Yeah, but that's a name. What's the thing?
It's a note.
We're looking for the things that the Constitution creates, not the name. 14th Amendment is another estate. It's a separate estate. It is a life estate. It is an estate created under the estate.
Boom. See? And you can't do what they thought you can do in a life estate. You can only pass that down. So even they got tricked. Because the estate is actually their kings. You got it? And once he's crowned, then they win. And it's really just a crazy biblical prophecy damn near. It's damn near the corporate version of Scripture.
If I own a fee simple absolute big chunk of land and I wanted to maintain control of half of it or 3/4 of it, and yet give maybe a quarter, sell a quarter, convey a quarter to someone else, but still get it back, I'd create a different estate, a life estate. You can have that estate until such and such time, and if you die or the conditions.
See? See, that's going back into the Jubilee Trust. That's why she's saying such and such time and all that. After some odd years, this is all dealing in, this is the law of redemption. The reason why she say you can use that piece of land over there is because that's what they were granted. Washington, D.C., remember? The District of Columbia. It wasn't Washington. It was just the District of Columbia. Not a part of this nation at all. Just a capital of how they finance themselves and things of that nature. What up with you, Sonetta Studio? Sonetta, my man, is in the building. Everybody say what up to Sonetta. You know, hey, Son, you know I'm over here teaching, doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I want y'all to know, Sonetta taught me these chess moves. Press one. So yeah, OG, we still over here teaching, doing our thing, trying to change our perspective away from the street shit and get back to what's important. You know what it is, man. We love you, champ. But yeah, the 50-year Jubilee. That's my man Cheddar. You can't go wrong with Cheddar. You know he love this shit. He learning in the back of the class, taking notes with Whack 100 and Tazariak. Press one. Shout out to them, man. But yeah, the 50 years, it's supposed to be a Jubilee. And whose Jubilee? Well, it's the King's Jubilee. It's the coronation. It's the 50-year coronation where the property and the assets return back to who they rightfully belong to. And then you can release or re-sign the contract or do what you want. You can go home. You can do a bunch of that. But you got to adhere to the rules. You have to. And she's just breaking it down. I'm breaking it down like a brother, but you know, pay attention.
Aren't met, I get it back.
She didn't do nothing but break down the law of redemption, which is in Scripture, of course. That's dealing with Jeremiah and the going into captivity, and that's what she's talking about here. We just got confused on time. We kind of got lost in time, thinking things are way far back than they really are, and they're really more current. They're really more up to date, not medieval time and all that.
So I create another estate. That's what's happened. Another estate has been created.
And the 14th Amendment is the creation of the estate. See, you went into captivity, and the 13th Amendment, you know how they say they freed the slaves? They the slaves that was freed. You hear me, Sanchetta? They the slaves that was freed. The white so-called indentured servants who had no entitlement to right. Only liberty is good. We all got liberty right now. What I'm saying is, right for us is different than just liberty and foreign citizenship. Here, it's actually wealth that you can pass down to and to your siblings, and homes you really own, and you pass it down through by way of lineage. No one else can do that here but you. Lord have mercy. Nobody else on the planet was operating this way, and the corporation just placed himself on you.
On page 207, the non-payment of taxes. Ooh, my. Now we're discussing a life tenant here. The mere refusal of the life tenant to pay taxes is not, where there has been no actual sale for taxes, a ground for forfeiture of the life estate at the suit of the remainderman.
So if the life estate was back paying on taxes, they get everything repossessed. Everything. That's the 14th Amendment citizen. This is what people go through today. Man, they're gonna take everything. I ain't up to my taxes or nothing. Yeah, you are heavily involved in the life estate.
Next underlined portion. Under some statutes, non-payment of taxes by a life tenant is regarded as committing waste, justifying forfeiture of his estate. Well, they're not going to have you forfeit your 14th Amendment estate, so they just put you in jail. You've committed waste, now you're subject to certain laws and conditions. Okay, as a 14th Amendment citizen, a life tenant, you're committing waste. That's against law. Even in old common law, it was against the law. So you see, we're at the common law, but yet we can't get to the common law. It's a paradox. The common law we want to get to is up here, way up here, but yet we're still at the effect of the common law because it's still hovering over us. They've just diminished our estates and we didn't know about it. Have not been informed. Full disclosure did not take place. If it did, certainly wasn't in my civics class. Now, under life estates, there are remainders. Okay, if I have a home in a life estate, I have to keep that home up in good condition for the remainders, whoever buys it, whoever gets it after me. A frequently stated rule on page 220, a frequently stated rule is that the remainder must be created by the same instrument which creates the life estate. In the ancestor, in order for the rule of Shelley's case to apply. Now, the rule of Shelley's case is long and drawn out, but it's a highly important rule. Under this rule, a will and codicil are considered one and the same instrument. Okay? It has been stated that the limitation to the heirs may be made by a power of appointment contained in the same instrument. So the rule in Shelley's case is important, and I'm not going to go into it because we have right here quite a bit to go through without going into everything I read and learned. Now we're getting to the point of codicil and will. Okay, all of a sudden that has popped up into our our little picture. We're not quite sure where it fits, or even if it does fit, it might belong to some other puzzle, so we're going to sit it over here temporarily. And now we come to American Jurisprudence 2D, which is volume 23, Dedication to Desertion and Non-Support. But we're going to be looking up deeds. We're going to find out what a deed is. You see, all of these things that are very important when we're looking at a trust, at a use, we have to look at what is a will, what is a trust, what is a deed, because deeds start coming in, and so do grants, and so that everything can come into proper perspective. Okay, so in deeds, what if I was wrong? What if this was a deed? Actually, it is. Okay, it is a trust. Everything, it all comes in. Up at the top here, grant is a synonym of conveyance. Do you remember back when Mr. Baldwin said it was a grant?
Can you let us know what page you're on?
82.
82.
82.
You missed that one. Remember Mr. Baldwin, the Justice Baldwin said that the Constitution was a grant? I do believe I read that. Right here in deeds, it says, grant is a synonym of conveyance. So now Blackacre has been conveyed. We now know it is a grant. Okay, and we find this under deeds, so obviously it is a trust deed. Doesn't have to be, but it is. This is very flexible, folks, unlike the law we know today. You know, we can take the word deed out and still say this is a trust without the word deed in there. Somebody brings a grant in, okay, it's a grant too. Yes, it's a trust, it's a deed. There are things that it is not. But there are many things that it is. Assignments. Section 5. The term assignment, which signifies the act by which one person transfers to another or causes to vest in another his right of property or interest therein, is sometimes used synonymously with grant. Again, so as to operate as a conveyance of the title to real property. But is ordinarily limited in its application to the transfer of intangible rights, including those in action and rights in or connected with property, as distinguished from the property itself. The term assignment, unlike the term deed, does not signify an instrument under seal, and at common law, if not under seal, it was not sufficient to pass legal title to real property. This document is a document under seal. Oh, then we have mention of wills down at the bottom of page 83. Under deeds in Amjor, we have wills. Okay? Whether an instrument is a deed or a will depends primarily on its operation and not on its form or manner of execution. The essential characteristic of a testamentary interest is that it operates only upon and by reason of the death of the maker. During his lifetime, it is ambulatory and revocable. Hence, the maker, by its execution parts, with no right, and divests himself of no oh God, this is getting different, modicum. Modicum, how do you pronounce that word? Modicum? Modicum?
Modicum.
Modicum, okay. Of his estate. I see, I'm not all-knowing. I'm not, even though you might think I am. After you know what I know, you're going to be a know-it-all too. It is fundamental, on the other hand, in order that an instrument may be operative as a deed, that it pass a present interest, although it is not necessary that the grantee take a present estate in the property conveyed accordingly. This is defining deeds and wills. On the operation, what was the primary operation of the Constitution? Besides, the Founding Fathers did not have testamentary capacity. The Statute of Wills says that. But now we're segueing into, we're bringing in a little bit of will stuff because we're going to find out that the 14th Amendment creates a codicil. It is a codicil. The Founding Fathers are obviously dead, folks. They must be dead, because everybody is taking under a codicil and looks like a will part of our document. It's segued. They must have died. We're going to find out that the 14th Amendment is you make an election to literally take under a will.
Just like that. So it could have been a major catastrophe. It could have been royals. It could have been at the Titanic. It could have been great ships it could have been, because they went to war. A lot of people went to, a lot of things happened. Some things that these historical writers are afraid to admit happened to a lot of great real patriarchs and patriots of your people.
Page 90. Deeds are traditionally regarded as consisting of a number of formal parts. The first of which is known as the premise. The premise of a deed, sometimes designated the caption, embrace matters preceding the habendum clause, such as the recitals of the grantor, intention and motives for his deed, the names, designations, and descriptions of the parties, etc., the conditions expressed for the deed, words of grant, and the description of the property conveyed. Okay. Yeah, it defines it. Defines the property conveyed. The Constitution appears to have a habendum and all these things that are in deeds. Okay? We're looking at the construction of the instrument. This is how the Supreme Court looks at things. Words of grant on page 91. In order to transfer title, an instrument must contain apt words of grant, which manifest the grantor's intent to make a present conveyance of the land by his deed as distinguished from an intention to convey it at some future time. This showed no desire to do it in a future period of time. This was right then, there, and now.
Always now.
Always now. Oh, and down here in the bottom of section 20, although words of inheritance such as to the and his heirs and assigns forever are no longer necessary to pass a fee simple, the use of such words strengthens the reading of a deed to pass a fee simple title. Okay, so they strengthened even today. and not to amalgamum of lesser estates. Addendum, let's see, word covenant. Page 575. This comes from Amjor 2D again. You will find this under covenants. Covenants, conditions, etc. We have a covenant here. There is a covenant sitting right in here. Insure and secure. Those words are words of guarantee, insurance.
I always say insurance.
The term covenant in its wide sense is used to indicate a contract, while the more specific application of the term imports an agreement deduced to writing and duly executed, whereby one or more of the parties named therein engages that a named act is already performed or is to be performed sometime in the future. A covenant may also call for the performance or non-performance of some specified duty, and may constitute an agreement to do or not to do a particular act. Is that in the Constitution?
Yes.
We have a covenant.
That's a moral obligation.
The term covenant is now used primarily in connection with promises, in conveyances or other instruments pertaining to real estate. You know, it says now, but not then. Then this was a covenant. Again, a covenant at common law imports an instrument under seal. We have a covenant. Duration of covenant on the next page, 577 of Amjor. A covenant is therefore extinguished when the estate ceases. We are in imminent danger. Wouldn't you say so? This is still on the books. It's still in black and white. It has not openly been repealed. But I have a very sneaking suspicion that our government is going to take our estate away from us on or in black and white.
Well, they already took the other estate. Remember, they genocided the 13? What are you talking? They're going to take your estate? The minor? Nah. They want you right there until the end of time, immemorial.
Out of black and white, whatever way you want to say it. We are in imminent danger. We don't know what we have been arguing and fighting for until now.
So I'm going to stop it there. You hear that? Until now, until that moment in time. They had no idea. They thought they were fighting for something else. No. You're a 14th Amendment. You came here. Your forefathers are immigrants, early 1900s, late 1800s. They came from different parts of the world. Nationalized under the civil rights. Press one. Oh, no. These people ain't Africans. They're Freeman. No, they're not African. No. That's a corporation. They're actually freemen under the king. And that's how you got to remain spotless, meaning a clean name, meaning no warrants, free. So you can maintain some type of footing here in your personal space, like coronavirus and shit. But in your personal space. We're going to finish this movie up tomorrow morning, of course. Get back to it. On a Friday night, Kev Gills. It's 3:35 here on the East Coast. Press 1. Shout out to the people who function with this broadcast. The people who in my cat excuse me y'all, I'm sorry. My sound wasn't on or nothing. Or nothing. I'm just talking away. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into the program. I'm gonna stop it right there because what a fine place to start from first thing in the morning in class. People gotta understand they plays in a position rather than thinking of themselves as victims and this and that. They better get hip on how this world operates. You know, they're beating you commercially. You need the law of the land. You know, but you don't believe in God. Y'all believe in every other God from death to everything else. Y'all done lost y'all way. So you got to come back into the fold. You got to strive to get back to God, repent, and come back to the law. And stop thinking so rebelliously or some you need some God got to control me and all this weird stuff. And then y'all got to stop astral projecting religiously when you need all men should be studying law. God wants you to study the law. You've been barred. They want you to study and pay attention. Shout out to you, Black and Silver. Shout out to my moderators for posting my links out there for the support. Y'all know, they flag us. We don't get no fucking corporate nothing. Now we monetize, but they no, you can't monetize this. No, strike, strike, strike. So shout out to Wish. Shout out to Mr. Bishmala Holloway, TC. Shout out to TC again, Jason Harris, Chief Sosa. Chief Sosa. Hot Sauce Peppers, Royal Purple. Shout out to Amanda this morning. Shout out to you and the few people who contribute. I love y'all. Thank you, and we'll be back first thing in the morning.